and Pokemon.
Yes.
And 8 different teams playing in Overwatch for, I think, a 10K prize pool. These guys are making bread.
It's around there.
I'm Jazzman, Septilence to my right, and we've got quite the match ahead of us. As we said, 8 teams, but we've got the first one, Maryland versus Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech coming in, obviously the furthest team. We've got a lot of teams that are local-ish, maybe just one state away, maybe a couple states away. Maryland coming decently far as well, all things considered, but Texas Tech coming in from, as the name would imply, Texas. So we're very excited to have them here. They're coming in at the number 8 seed. Maryland going to be our number 1 seed today. So going into a bracket like that seeding, it can be difficult to be that number 8 seed, to come in. It's a bit of a forced underdog story, but at the end of the day, you've got to come in and just play your best, because that seeding, at the end of the day, could really mean nothing. We've seen 8th seeds win before.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what the team feels, right? Like if Texas Tech come into this with a lot of confidence, so they don't really feel that sort of number 8, oh, we're playing the number 1 team sort of vibe. They're more so in their own element. They're like, we are the underdogs. We have nothing to lose. I think that's what's going to be important, because like we said, they came a very long way. Like they have plenty to lose, but they can't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, they told us there was 3 flights to get here. It was 3 separate flights to get here. I assume it's going to be 3, maybe 2 on the way home, but it is a lot. Coming in at that 8th seed, back when I played collegiate 10,000 years ago, there was a saying on my team where it was always, like you just said, nothing to lose, everything to gain. You come in, you've got the concept of, we're going in this 8th seed, but the good news is that means everybody's gonna think poorly of us. Everyone's going to underestimate what we can bring to the table. And Overwatch, in such a rapidly evolving state right now, it's so easy to change the comp, to change the game, to put a new composition on the table that makes it that easy to spice things up. I think there really could be a lot of viability, and also teams that tend to be in that lower seed, they tend to play compositions we're not seeing as often, which means those compositions aren't being scrimmed against as often, which means you get that weird kind of advantage state of it playing a hero that maybe the other team isn't running into in the ladder.
Right, and it's like if you're a team like Maryland, you might be scrimming against teams that are better than the teams that you're going to play against here, and it's the same sort of thing. You're not getting used to running reps against comps that you might not see at the end of the day. Like we might see weird tank pools. Obviously, that's kind of where you see a lot of flexibility nowadays. So it's very interesting. I'm really excited to see how this is going to work out. And some of these teams you also have to keep in mind, fatigue is a factor.
Always.
Because people drove, people flew, people did it today. Some people didn't get a good night's sleep. That's all going to play a factor.
I mean, I drove in after work last night. I think I went to bed about just shy of 2 o'clock in the morning. Woke up at 7 a.m. to be here. So it's I feel the fatigue. It's a relatable thing for me, especially. I think it was just under 5 hours.
I'll keep you upright. I'm going to keep you upright.
I know. We're gonna be here all day. We're going to be here all day.
We missed, but you didn't see that.
You didn't see anything. Mind your business. You guys are here for Overwatch. You're not here for us anyway. But going in, I mean, this is going to be a fascinating matchup. We've got some map changes that have just recently come into the composition pool. So these teams, they've been scrimming. They've been bringing new maps to the table with new heroes, with new compositions. So it's going to be that constantly evolving state of play. And there was a joke at the first 2 Nittany Invitationals that I was invited to where Penn State was the first seed both times. And I would just make a joke about, yeah, of course they are. They're the ones hosting, right? They did it on purpose. But this is the first time I think we're seeing Penn come in not as that number 1 seed, which I think is going to be really exciting. We see Penn State coming in as that number 2. It gives them the opportunity to just really kind of amp that gameplay, to get up, to get excited, to be coming into that play style as aggressively as they can. They've got a lot more on the table to earn this time.
Yeah, Penn State also has QLM now rocking with them. Al-Qatsiyah player in EMEA.
Well, QLM in, DMT out. DMT is here with Maryland, an ex-Penn State player.
Crazy name, first of all. Second of all, yes, that is going to be a very interesting dynamic, right? Like, you might know how this player plays. Like, despite, even if you learn new heroes, even if you learn how to play around a new system, you're still the same player at the end of the day. Those same triggers can still exist if you know how to push the right buttons. I mean, that's for another time, right? Like, this is a game that we have to get to begin with. Texas Tech could be the ones that upset Maryland here. Who knows?
Yeah, and I don't have I don't know for a fact if it is going to be Lijiang Tower as the map of choice, but I'm going to go on a really confident guess. So the options are Ilios, Oasis, Antarctic Peninsula, and Lijiang. So my most confident guess is that we're not going to see Antarctic Peninsula even once. I think it is very commonly a least popular control map, especially when it's up against the GOATs of Lijiang, Oasis, and Ilios. I think that's very exciting, and I actually think I'm getting confirmation here. Let me check. Okay, my phone's not loading. I'm pretty sure it is going to be Lijiang Tower. That's going to be my guess going into this. It is the most popular collegiate map far and away. Yeah, there's the thumbs up. It is going to be Lijiang coming in as map number 1. If I have to guess, map number 2, likely going to be Kings Row, but that's not as frequent as it used to be, especially now that Reinhardt is just fully, completely, and totally unplayable. There's no saving him, and that's coming from a guy that played Reinhardt exclusively for years. So it's tough to say, but it's true.
Don't talk to me until I've had my fat shattered.
Yep, amen to that. Amen. I need one of those coffee mugs that say that. I think that'd be very funny. That'd be a good bit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Like, I think that's the only real tank where you can just be like, no, like, shove him aside. He's never going to find any use.
Straight up.
But that's the interesting thing, right? Like, with one tank, and I know we're going back 3 years now because Overwatch 2 came out a long time.
Yeah.
3 years to the day, actually.
Is that true?
That is true.
That real?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so. I think Isa over there told me that's going to be one of our casters later. Yeah, yeah. So it's been a long time, but the change up that we saw with 2 tanks splitting over to 1 is that, yeah, it's kind of annoying because you have to swap all the time, but you see a lot more tanks played. You see a lot more variety, right? Like, you're not just seeing Zarya's second tank every time. It's actually something different. So it's a double-edged sword, but I think that variety plays a lot into the map pool, and I think with Lijiang, you get a lot. I guess it's aggressive. It's pretty aggressive.
It's a very aggressive map. I mean, most control maps tend to be. You don't see a lot of passive play style here because you do need to have control of the control point, hence the name of the map type, control. So I think going in, you are looking at those slightly more aggressive tanks, and I think you're actually not seeing shield tanks played as often here. I think we're going to be seeing maybe some Diva, maybe some Hazard works really well on Lijiang Tower, on King's Row as well. Zarya is very much in the meta right now. She's incredibly strong. She actually was a tank that swapping into Overwatch 2, a lot of people said, oh, Zarya is going to be garbage. We're never going to see her again. And she actually had quite the opposite impact. Zarya, according to some people, got stronger.
It was I remember a time whenever Overwatch 2 first came out, it was a lot of Junker Queens, so I think Zarya was very... So Zarya was like very, we got bans.
We talked that much about Zarya and she's banned.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be seeing Zarya here. I think it is going to be a fascinating matchup to go into on that Zar. So removing her from the equation, I think that actually increases the likelihood of Diva being played here as well. Diva's got high mobility. She's a great tank buster, especially with those micro rockets. She's got that mobility and, of course, that defense matrix as well. One of the strongest neutral abilities in the game.
Yeah, you also could have Hazard, I think. The ball's also a possibility. Like, so many things to work with here. But here we are, finally. No more speculation. We've got our first matchup between Texas Tech and Maryland College Park. Number 1 versus number 8. Big upset maybe here for Texas Tech as they get through onto the point. Obviously, you've got Lucio on the side of Texas Tech, so plenty of boosts, but you don't have him anymore. It's Tony for the first pick, and immediately Maryland College Park can get started.
That's a tough pick for sure. You lose that Lucio, you lose that speed boost, and of course that inherent healing that comes alongside it, giving Maryland a big opportunity to take that space. Going into this fight in the re-engagement, now Texas Tech, they know the card has been played a little bit. They know the Lucio is going to be dove. He's going to be one of the easier targets on the side of Texas Tech to take down, so they're going to try to keep him alive a bit longer. Maryland, an early cap.
Might want to rely on LRF for that, but he's going to need to deal a lot of damage as well. Clamps him his way in, trying to get on that Wu Yang here, but immediate assist there from Tony. Great positioning. Maryland just now capping the point. But Texas Tech a little bit split up here. Clamps actually very low. Trying to break through this choke, but they have been stuck here, and that Tracer from behind is going to cause them so much issues. Tony's going to work with it, and Funny gets the pick on Anemoris. No more Tracer on the end of Texas Tech, and immediately they have to fall back, but it's not going to work. JK falls. 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, Funny, not joking around here. That was a 4K, a technical 6 with the 2 tactical resets on the side of Texas Tech. And Maryland, I mean, this is, reminder, the number 1 seed. You're the number 1 seed for a reason. They always are. They've earned that spot. The team, statistically, we're expecting to come in and win, and they're showing us early on exactly what we're expecting to see later in the day. I think this is a composition we may see a lot of across several maps. I think it's very strong. Tony's clearly super comfortable on this Diva. The ultimate's incredibly impactful. We know, again, that defense matrix, I'm going to talk about it a lot today. It is such a strong neutral ability or an inherent ability coming in, and let's see if Tony's going to be able to get anything with this bomb going into the next fight.
And of course, oh, that's a nice headshot. You got the Curie Rush as well, but there's a pick again. Texas Tech just constantly losing this Lucio on the fight. They're never going to be able to build the beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third, but it's actually C3E from the back line, and Texas Tech are getting ran down into their spawn. There's nothing that they can do. They can barely push through this point, and this Diva, so much presence on the map alongside Funny, but it was JK to clean up that entire round in Maryland. I mean, they're just looking at another point, just completely free for them. Yeah,
that was a big lead for Maryland here, and I think Texas Tech going into this fight, they've got a lot of ultimates to work with. I think we're going to need to see this Kitsune Rush. Now, the problem is, with Kitsune Rush, it's typically countered by the opposing Kitsune Rush pretty quickly, as we see Clint Balloon coming in as soon as Mobilized uses. So that advantage down and out. C3E probably needs to pop this ultimate as well, and we will see it in that instance. It's going to be a desperate play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jaykeezus, but is it going to be enough? The Kiri down and out. The 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony is probably so happy that that's Zarya's banned. No more beam to just completely shut him down, but I mean, Texas Tech just completely lost the HP pool on that hazard. The tank was so low that entire fight. There was nothing that they could do to try and recover as the squishies just started getting lower as well. Clamps wasn't really able to protect anybody. His HP pool was non-existent. And again, Epics. I mean, I hate to be the guy to call players out, right? But that is so many opening deaths in that fight.
It's tough.
He wasn't able to build
Well,
deep.
it's also one of the situations where it's okay to talk about because it's not necessarily Epic's fault. It is kind of one of those situations where he's able to be found out on that back line. D.Va just does more damage. He doesn't have that speed boost to get away. But you also run that gauntlet, you know, coming from a retired collegiate Lucio player. I know that journey of, do I use speed boost just to keep myself alive? Is it worth using that? Because if I use it and I live, we're still missing that utility. And I do love the Symmetra TP. I always am a fan of that. You get out a little bit earlier, but when everyone does it, of course, you're getting there all at the same time. And we want to see that action come out early from Texas Tech. They know Maryland wants to come early on. They want to get into this fight. They want to get hyper-aggressive. So Texas Tech, I think, needs to mirror that energy into this fight.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly. You have such a dive-heavy comp, but Clamps is dead first. Again, they just struggle to keep this tank alive. Clamps have even 2 over position there.
Nice, good
but
find.
there's a first trade. Finally, you have a DPS dead. Things starting to finally go their way, but as Mobilized falls, it seems like it's getting a little bit more difficult. C3E with 2, and your DPS are falling apart. Funny gets the trade, and Maryland just are able to walk on into this point. All they need to do is clean up. Clamps is back, however. But this point's going to go in the way of Maryland College Park. Again, at this, I mean, at least Texas Tech had a little bit of fight in that round. LRF got his picks, but still, not much there.
Not much there. I mean, C3E really waking up in that fight as well. Able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stabilization, but I think Texas Tech, they're holding their own a little bit better in the fight. The fight's a little longer. We're seeing some trades come through, and going into this next engagement, I think I just want to see more localization. We're seeing Texas Tech spread out a lot, which makes it easy to pick off those weaker or smaller targets, those squishier targets. So going into this next fight, they need to find a neutral target or an agreed upon target and really dive into that engagement. Not able to find that mini there. Nemris is going to be going back into the engagement a little bit low on that HP, makes it tough.
Going for a flank now. Texas Tech walking around. Now, I think Epics and Nemris are still on the other side, but Tony's taken down to a low HP. We've got Kitsune Rush, but there's the pick. Finally losing the tank on the side of Maryland. We've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally getting on. It's the first capture for them.
And, you know, we talked earlier, you and I, just casually about kind of slower-paced games. We were talking about Rainbow Six and Valorant and how they tend to be a little bit slow. We talked about Overwatch being fast-paced, but that fight actually incredibly slow-paced. With
intention I'm gonna fall asleep.
From Texas Tech there. We see the Kitsune come out early. They're able to use that slow momentum and swap it into forcing Maryland to play their momentum. This is such a game of speed, of hyper-aggression, and Texas Tech, they've identified that. They're throwing out the ultimates. The Kitsune is there. LRF has gone down. It's going to be a one-player advantage for Maryland, but it could be answered out early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save, though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that, you know? That's kind of, that whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on because Maryland was able to get the first pick. But no, Texas Tech now, they got 34%, but still Maryland have just such a dominant position on the map. Even with their comp, Texas Tech aren't able to play aggressive at all.
Yeah, now the good news is Texas Tech, they need to be using this beat, I think, as a primary engagement. There's no real ultimates on the side of Maryland that's going to be used correctively / defensively against. They need to wait out this Kitsune. They need to try and stay alive through it. Funny is going to be going down here on the side of Maryland. A huge opportunity for Texas Tech to turn this around. I'd love to see the beat drop from Epic Z to get into this engagement without that concern of being taken down. The beat drop does come out. It's going to give Texas Tech the exact engagement they're looking for. Another find on the Jaykeezus almost guarantees the point flip. And even if Texas Tech doesn't win this map, we're seeing the signs of life we need for success later in this series.
Honestly, all it was a confidence diff. I feel like they were finally, they're finally all right, listen, we have a hazard, we have a tracer. Let's just get in there. We've got the Lucio to speed us in and out. All of that should work for us. So we started finally playing dive. Texas Tech started finally taking that aggressive space. It seems like for Maryland, they're going to need to find a way through this. Tony already taken down to low, going to be able to get away and get healed up, but Nemris might not be very safe. Trying to find this tracer. Clamps is stuck in the room with the entirety of Maryland on him, but it's C3E to fall. LRF with another. Tony getting taken down low, but wins the fight against the Cassidy. D.Va Bomb comes through. Nemris has the pulse bomb to respond potentially. It's a missed one, though.
Balloon
from the
goes
side of Maryland.
I mean, this is huge. This is exactly what Texas Tech needed. Not only are they going to win this fight, they're actually going to take the percentage lead here. The pulse bomb going to be eaten by Tony, though. A phenomenal play. Funny gets taken out for it, so at least it's an ult for a life. That's still an advantage in favor of Texas Tech. But going into this next engagement, only a couple ultimates on the board. It's going to come down to the value of the supports to see which team's going to be able to win this fight. Because whoever wins this fight does win this stage and possibly wins the map.
There's the Kitsune rush. That's what we were waiting for. You also have C3 on the ult. Tony walking in. He's got LRF down, but there's 2 in response for Texas Tech. You've lost your Kitsune rush now. There's no support ult for Maryland College. They're going to have to try and find a way through, but Tony's getting taken down low. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane. They're finally seeing that boop come out. It is Lijiang Tower after all. Tracer taken down as well. C3E will fall. It's a stalled out fight, but it works out in the end as Texas Tech finally walked through. The Lucio's still alive. 2 picks now.
Not only the Lucio alive, but yeah, Clint Balloon really living up to that mythical name. Not going to be able to keep it upstanding, but Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper aggression off rip, I think was hyper valuable for the team to get in, to find that success and that notability, that notoriety of staying alive. It's going to work well, but Texas Tech clearly showing Maryland, hey, you may be #1 seed, but you're not getting this for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got round number 3 now, and it feels like Texas Tech, once again, they're way more confident in this. They're playing this dive fully, and they're actually going to maybe bring a Venture as well to maybe have some sustain in the fights. I think that makes a lot of sense. But again, all that matters is keeping up the aggressiveness. For Texas Tech, they need to play into this comp. They cannot get scared just because Maryland are trying to work their backline. You don't have a Zarya to worry about. You don't have that backline protection. Just go in. You've got a hazard. And there it is. Nemris is on the Vantage. Venture.
The Venture coming here. You got the V part. That's the important part. Venture, though, I mean, one of the highest damage dealing DPS in the game, especially being able to flank into that back line. A really good kind of anti-diva counter, as we see, forces Tony to come into the fight, gets to go underground, get away from that utility and that ability, forces Tony to play a little bit more in that back line, keeps the front line open, allows the team to maybe get some additional damage. You already see it's forcing the positioning of Maryland to be a little bit wonky, a little bit unusual. Epic Z in the back line, able to find C3E with that boop off the map. A huge opening for Texas Tech, almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Sup, Div? Yep, good job there from Epic Z. Texas Tech capture the point. I think for the first time it is their capture first, and Epic Z-Ray, he's on top now. That's 2 kills for him on this half. That is insane, but he might be getting too aggressive here. Almost caught out by Tony, but stays alive thanks to that Kiri. But still, Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's de-meching him and letting him know about it. Insane stuff out of Texas Tech, looking absolutely like a completely different team now.
Yeah, Maryland going to be making a couple of compositional swaps. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tony maybe swap onto a different tank here. I think there are a couple of viable options. You could go try to mirror the Hazard. You could go Junker Queen. There it is. Almost perfectly timed. And I think Junker Queen Reaper getting this more up close and personal composition is going to really benefit Maryland well with the way Texas Tech has chosen to play Stage 3 of Lijiang Tower.
Of course, yeah. And Texas Tech, you want to slow them down a little bit now. And it's kind of funny because Maryland were just so good at that. They were the ones that were setting the pace, but now it's that Hazard wall trapping them in. Kitsune rush, but nice shot from Nemris. The response in Kitsune, they're going to keep them back. Maryland just can't push far at all. You've also got that Deadeye. LRF will push them through.
It's going to be a really good just level of aggression coming into this fight here. Hazard trying to separate the fight, trying to take the Junker Queen away from the rest of the team, and with the Kiri in the pocket, going to be able to do so. An incredible stagger onto 2 teams here, 2 players, a third of the team down and out. A possible third member could be joining them in spawn in just a moment. Clint Balloon dismissed early by Mobilize. Their Kiriko counterparts going into this 80% and counting. Texas Tech just half a fight away from being able to win Lijiang Tower in a technical reverse sweep.
You've got 3 ults to work with here as well for Texas Tech. You've got that Lucio beat to kind of let you go into the fight as they've been using it for. LRF as well has got that Deadeye. It's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out. But they aren't able to force this push at all. It's a huge Deadeye as the Reaper goes down. C3E's ult for naught. That's the only support ult left. Maryland now can't even get onto the point. Tracer goes for that touch, but is there anyone alive to respond to that? The Ventral and the beat. They're going to be able to stay alive and just continue to deal damage out throughout this. Even if Maryland get onto the point, they're going to be completely staggered to fall, still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. You're slowly losing your ability to maintain in this. All it takes is a few shots, and this one should be over. Nemris getting them both, and Maryland upset on their own map. Texas Tech, what a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%. A really good show up from Texas Tech there. I think, and honestly, just watching that first stage, I think a lot of that was nerves. I think a lot of it coming in, they were just anxious. They were nervous. They're playing the number 1 seed. They're the 8th seed. It's an anxiety-inducing thing. But once they changed that composition, once we got into stage number 2, they were like, oh, wait a minute. This is the same game we know and love. We're playing the same game we've been playing every day of the week for weeks of the year, for years of our lives. It's a very easy turnaround. I think Texas Tech, an impressive showing there to come into that. I think going in next will be hybrid, I believe. I think our options are Paraíso, Kings Row, Midtown, and Eichenwald. So I think there's a lot of good choices there. I think with the way we're seeing, not Texas Tech, Maryland play. I think the way we're seeing Maryland play, I think we could be leaning towards maybe like an Eichenwald. I think that wouldn't be a crazy pick.
Yeah, and I wonder what like the motive now is for Maryland, because they just played like full dive and got ransacked on it in that second point. So are you switching the play style completely? Are you kind of picking the map to play more passively, to play more aggressively?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, because Texas Tech, like they didn't like when they were getting demolished, let's say.
It's honest.
Rough
it's
word,
honest.
but
yeah.
On that first point, they were playing the same exact comp. They did not switch heading into that second point. It was a mentality. It was a play style change. So now Maryland are the ones that have to kind of respond.
Yeah, and I think if you are looking at the side of Maryland, there is something to keep in mind of we've seen Texas Tech, when they get good, when they start that steamroll, they do tend to get a little bit too aggressive sometimes. I think if you're Maryland, you could play into that a little bit. You could wait for one of them to overextend, to get a little bit too confident on that pick, and then you follow through on it. You take them down in dominoes. When you knock one over, well, the rest tend to follow suit. I think it could be a way to break that momentum. And Overwatch, such a momentum-heavy game, again, that we see very often relying on that momentum, on that aggression. I think going into that engagement, we are going to want to see Maryland slow it down, but with the intent of just waiting to speed it right back up.
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of just relying on who you're picking, right? Like we saw the Junker Queen didn't really work out there. Well, we've got Kings Row, it seems like, for map number 2, so that answers that. Very, I mean, neutral map, I guess?
I call it neutral because everybody's played it 10,000 times.
Sure,
You know, there are a couple of maps in the game. I think Antarctic Peninsula, Paraíso were good examples of, like, teams are definitely out there scrimming it more than others.
Yeah,
but Kings Row is a map that everyone is scrimming all the time. We've been playing this. I mean, it's been around long enough that I could say people have probably played this tens of thousands of times. Like, it truly is just a map, especially with the map voting. This gets voted for every single time I see it. So, like, the play rate has really gone way up in that casual play, in that competitive play. And I think looking at Kings Row, it does make me wonder what composition we're going to be seeing from Maryland here. I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's going to be mainly for slowdown, if they want to try and just put the brakes on Texas Tech, force them, again, to just play a different play style, get them a little uncomfortable. But, again, getting upset like that, you have to start asking questions of your own. What do we do? What do we change for our sake, right? So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. Obviously, you've got the ban Zarya last time around. You could bring that out now.
I'm glad you bring it up. Well, because I believe she can be banned again. No? Is there any kind of ruling against, or are they allowed to ban the same hero every time?
I thought it was. No, yeah, you're right. As long as Texas Tech don't ban a tank?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't remember. I don't remember the ban situation. Hey, when I played collegiate, bans weren't even an idea.
I'm a Rainbow Six player.
Yeah, listen, that wasn't even a concept. We didn't even think about that yet. But I do think going in, I forgot to mention earlier, like Tony, the tank player for Maryland, he's known for his Zarya.
Yeah.
And I think that does have a lot to kind of show what happens there. Is he has to play Hazard, he has to play Diva, he has to play Junker Queen, which he's not looking bad on, but Zarya's his best tank. And when you can't play your best tank, I mean, that's going to be a big problem going into the matchup. So I do think going in to Kings Row, if Tony can bring out Zarya, I think this is a very, very, very Zarya-friendly map.
Yeah, and it made sense why they banned it last time, right? You want to run that Diva. Like, it makes perfect sense.
You want him to run anything else. Like, that's the real answer. You want him to run anything else.
I don't want to play Zarya. I don't want to shoot my beam and press my shift and my E's. Oh, my gosh. So difficult.
I don't want to have to bubble myself exclusively all the time. They were like, we'll give Zarya 2 bubbles because then she can bubble a teammate as well. And then that's still bad. You still aren't supposed to do that. The meta way to play Zarya is to bubble yourself exclusively all the time.
Of course. Just build ult for that solo grab. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. That's why we play Overwatch, because we build ults and then we solo ult someone and it doesn't do anything. So.
Yeah, and I think, it's important to note as well that going into this that we have, like you mentioned, 8 teams. Not all of them are going to be here on stream due to the fact that we would be here for like a week. So off stream right now, I'm going to check my notes to make sure I'm giving you guys the right numbers. We have Drexel versus Miami. Miami currently seed number 4, Drexel seed number 5. So going into this, Miami won the last Nittany Invitational that I was a part of, which was a huge deal for me because I'm from Ohio, Miami of Ohio. That was a huge deal. It was the first event I had ever commentated where an Ohio team had won, so that was super exciting for me. I love the Miami program. They're a great group of kids. They've got great leadership, and they're coming in. They're trying to put another Nittany Invitational under their belt, but to do so, they have to take down Drexel, who is no team to be stifled with. They are a very impressive roster as well.
Yeah, so that is an interesting game that's actually happening directly behind us. And
True.
You can actually maybe peer a little bit and see what's going on. But yeah, that is one of the matches.
They're definitely playing Overwatch.
Yeah, thank
God. That part for sure.
And then actually behind them is Siege. So yeah, that is also a thing. We've got Marvel Rivals going on at the same time. We've got Siege going on. And then obviously you have Group B. Now, the question of Group B was if we're going to see Michigan here.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be here.
Yes, that is correct. We confirmed.
So, yeah, so they would play Penn State, and then you have, well, actually, that's Syracuse versus
Alvernia.
My apologies.
That's what the notes are for, to make sure that we're giving you guys the correct information. Because, like you mentioned, Michigan, there was a little bit of like a toss-up of maybe they weren't going to be able to make it. We didn't know, but we got confirmation this morning that Michigan is going to be coming. They're going to be playing. So, you know, it's part of me is like, as an Ohioan, I'm really supposed to not like Michigan. That's kind of like in the blood, but I don't mind. I'm excited they're here. I'm glad to have them. I don't know if I've seen Michigan play Overwatch. I think this might be my first exposure to their team, so I'm really looking forward to that as well.
I've seen them play football, and it is sad.
Listen, hey, as an Ohioan, great to hear. Listen.
I don't want to hear anything about football from your end. I don't need your Buckeyes in my ears.
Real.
I just
OH, baby.
I'm scared.
Oh, I hope at least one person in chat goes IO, because if they don't, I look silly regardless, if we're being honest. Anyway, Overwatch going into Kings Row. I think we're loading into the map here in just a minute. So we gave a lot of hypotheticals about what we're going to be seeing from the side of Maryland. I'm excited to see what we're going to be seeing from the side of Texas Tech as well. We didn't really talk about what we might see with them.
Yeah, you got Wu Yang Ban and the Cassidy, so no tank ban. Zarya is available. Obviously, we're doing a lot of speculation there. Tony might not even play Zarya at all this tournament.
That's
but
true. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, especially because Zarya is so good, but it is a possibility that it seems like, no, we're not going to run it. Like, there's so many tanks.
Well, also, it's tough because if you've been playing Zarya on all your scrims that are all online, it's difficult. You've got to run that gambit of, have they watched me play Zarya? Do they know what I'm bringing to the table? But if you're good enough, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's kind of the interesting part as well. Tony is, I was given information. He was referred to as a top-ranked Zarya. Now, does that mean top 500? Does that mean top-ranked in collegiate? I actually don't know. I don't know what the clarification on that was. But the point is that Tony's going to be good. He's going to know what he's doing. And bringing out this Zarya, it could be difficult if he chooses to. He could sit on it a little bit later. It's really going to be up to him to decide what he wants to bring to the table.
You got a Torb on the side of Texas Tech. Now, that is interesting.
They're on the attack. That could swap.
Okay, yeah.
They could swap that literally up until the very last second. Yep. We pay them no mind because that could be anything. It is important to note the side swap. Doesn't matter a whole lot coming out of control because everybody's on attack. But Maryland, they are going to be on the defense this time, which means Texas Tech chose to attack first, which is uncommon.
Oh, I see. And maybe it's a follow-up on that aggressive play. You've got LRF now on the surge. They want to get really good engage on this. Funny now, poking around, just trying to waste time. But Texas Tech, he'll actually be able to call out that push. So they're going to be able to rotate around this, but still taking a ton of damage here. Got to be careful there. High ground taken now by Texas Tech.
I love this Sojourn skin because she looks like a Power Rangers villain.
It's beautiful.
I really like it. I think it's a good skin. I love the big bug eyes. And going into this, the high ground advantage, I mean, this is what, the New York Excelsior Classic? I mean, or the, maybe it was, what was the team that wasn't Houston? I can't think of it now.
Outlaws.
No, the one that's not Houston, the other Texas team. Dallas Fuel. The Dallas Fuel Classic. One of those teams was the first to kind of make this happen. And Texas Tech getting just about as much value here. We're seeing that aggression come through. It's able to find a double pick, and when you're on the defense, your spawn is so much further away. Clam's getting in close, knows that pick on a C3E is just around the corner. Might have to give his life for it, but decides it's still worth it. Just barely a minute off the clock. They're able to find that advantage state moving forward.
Love the patience as well to not completely force your way through. You know that there's potentially another fight here, but no, Maryland aren't going to be able to contest that. They just don't really have the time to do it. Not enough speed. You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot on Funny and that Reaper. Nice try there. Clip-Balloon going down could have been huge. Losing that Lucio again has been a problem for Texas Tech. Not so much for Maryland, though.
You know, we've seen Clint Balloon go down a couple of times, but not typically first. You know, we're not seeing that kind of same level of aggression coming through. We see Mobilize trying to get that spam damage, wants to try and build that ult when they can. Instead, it's C3E, the first support to fall. Now the support's both missing for Maryland. That's going to cause a whole W kind of wave here. They're going to try to get out of the fight, but Texas Tech, if they're worth their weight in gold here, they're going to know you push that as hard as you possibly can. You want to try to find that elimination. You want to try to find that hyper-aggression, or at least just that spacing to prevent them from getting back into the fight, and that looks like that's the approach Texas has chosen to take.
Yeah, they're taking space over kills, right? Like, they don't care that Maryland are here. They're just going to be able to choke them out and just play this high ground because they have a Zarya. I mean, that's going to be problematic. You only really have the Reaper and the Lucio to contest that high ground, and the Kiriko, of course. But you've got Hazard to just walk around, completely throw through this. Mobilize with the Kitsune. He gets it out, but he falls. So now finally Maryland can get their way through. Potential grab as well. Fully charged Zarya. It's all there, but it's not going to matter. Texas Tech will rotate away anyway. The space is there. Beautiful right click, top ranked for a reason. Almost hits that second one. Thanks to that Suzu.
Now, that's the hard part as well, though, is you used that Kitsune, and then the team had to back out of it.
Yeah.
So you lost your support. You lost that ult entirely. A huge blow to Texas Tech on the side of Maryland. They've got a lot of great ultimates to move into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Nemra's going to be caught out in the back line, has to recall early. It's going to be a 2-1 trade as this Hazard has come through. Great grab, but the beat drop from Epic Z is going to be able to keep the team alive. A pulse bomb follow-up from Funny. 2 ultimates traded out only for one on the side of Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
You got Tony completely charged up. You got him ready to rumble. Great grab there with the pulse bomb in combo no matter what. Texas Tech, they still have 3 ults to work with, but none of those are support ults. So Maryland are going to be able to stay alive in this fight if they can. It's going to be a matter of Texas Tech just having well-timed ults. You're going to need LRF to just go crazy, right? Like, you're relying on those individual picks now because Maryland have that beat. They have that Kitsune rush. So many advantages to stall out here.
Great damage early from Nemris, has to force that Reaper out of the equation. And I do think Reaper, one of the harder ultimates in the game to really get value with these days. Everybody's just so used to what it does and how to use it. They're able to get hyper-aggressive. Tracer v Tracer, these two want to take each other out so bad, but they both play so well that it's incredibly difficult to do so. I don't imagine Clamps makes it out of here alive. I'd be really surprised. Yeah, there it is. It's going to be Clamps going down.
He ulted there, too. Their ult's just completely gone. You've lost an ult for that fight, too, actually.
I think they're panicking a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like the first time we're seeing, like, raw mistakes out of Texas Tech. You know, missed ults. The Kiri ult early on whenever they lost that Kiri. It just seems like Texas Tech are starting to shake just a little bit. Now their ult economy is a little low. They've only got that Kiri ult to work with again. And you've also got Nemris with the Pulse Bomb. But still on the side of Maryland, it's also the same thing. Pretty dry.
Yep. And then going into this, I think, you know, I always refer to this as like King's Row 0.1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as methodically as Maryland. That double ultimate from Jay Keesis is going to essentially end this fight before it can begin. Maryland just bought themselves a solid 20 more seconds before Texas Tech can even try to engage this fight.
You said, yeah, Death Blossom doesn't get that much more value. He took that personally.
I said it's harder to get value with. I didn't say it was impossible.
Oh, man. Nemris. Funny and Nemris have been dueling all game. But this time around, you actually have a Lucio to potentially help out with. They're actually trying to go on this entirely. Funny could get caught out here. There's the recall, but he has the... I think he has the util to get away, but Maryland's still taking a ton of damage here. They're going to be forced to back up just a little bit. And you've got that Kitsune to potentially engage with, and there it is. Mobilize pops it, and now Texas Tech going to go through the missed grab. It only gets one, and Hazard's going to be able to walk away from that pretty safely. Maryland are going to back up, though. They haven't lost any lives except for Funny on this, which I think is important because Texas Tech, they want space. But last time around, Maryland were able to kind of bounce back off of this position, and it looks like they're about to maybe lose Jay Keesis.
Yeah. No, he's...
No, but LRF. Beautiful beam, and again, the stall here. Maryland going to be a man down.
LRF not as flashy on this Sojourn, but really getting the kills that matter. We're not seeing the kill feed as often, but he's playing Sojourn a lot more in that sniper aspect than he is kind of that hyper-aggression that we saw with that Cassidy, which is the only way to play Cassidy. With Sojourn, you do kind of get that dynamic shift. You're allowed to kind of use that natural dichotomy of her existence to get aggressive when it matters. I think right now, Texas Tech doing a good job forcing that payload forward. They're forcing Maryland to hold that W key, and Funny is going to miss that pulse bomb. Suzu out early to 1-1 trade with the tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That beat drop trying to answer out Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
No ults in queue except for that Kitsune going through, but Tony at the least getting a pick too there. They find the fights and they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw in map number 1. When Texas Tech get isolated, when Texas Tech split apart, they're very easy to pick up.
Well, it's also when your tank goes down. It's just so hard to win that fight. You know, we lost We lost Clamp so early in that fight, and then Epic Z, I think, was the second one to go down. The two most important players on the team in terms of like sustainability falling. Really hard to win that fight, and especially twice as hard with a fully charged Zarya in your face.
Yeah, that Tony's been charged up basically since he's respawned.
60 or higher the whole time.
Yeah, it's rough, and you have the first pick now for Maryland as well. So many ults, and again, mobilized. Drops another ult and dies. Tony with another. It's just all falling apart. Texas Tech will get held off. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on this Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya. This is the best example. This is why Zarya was banned to begin with, because that's where Tony wants to be. That's where Tony's going to be. That's the value Tony's going to bring to the table. And it looks like Texas Tech might be learning that the hard way. But admittedly as well, got to give it to Texas Tech. That is typically where Kings Row tends to end. They made it to that middle point, that Kings Row 1.5. They were able to find the value. They capped the point, which is typically the hardest part. They got to the end of point 2. They don't cap it, but the win condition has been set. They chose to attack to set their own win con. That's the name of the game, to know we have to prevent them from getting this far. Now, Maryland coming in really heated up. A really strong showing so far from Tony on this Zarya. What is Texas Tech going to change to bring that composition to the table to try and take the Zarya out?
Yeah, and it seems like they're still very strong-witted. Like, despite the fact that they've been having a lot of moments that I feel like would chalk teams, right? Like Mobilize having two Kitsunes that he dies immediately afterwards. At least he gets them out, but still not much came of them. It feels like those moments can be so rough if you make them big.
Yes.
But if you're able to minimize the impact of them, you have to realize that Texas Tech are, like you said, playing well. They made it far. And it feels like Maryland aren't always on the upper hand. It always feels like Tony, as long as he's fully beamed, they're probably going to win the fight. But in most cases, Texas Tech still always have a say in it, but Clamps is kind of getting clamped down on that hazard, so I'm not sure. It feels like maybe too much damage on the side of Maryland for him to stay alive.
That's true. I mean, Hazard, he's got a lot of sustainability. He's got a lot of high ability, but Lucio, a large healing output. Lucio, notably, not as much, because healing's not his whole game. You know, there's a lot more to it, and I think that could make it more difficult for Hazard to stay alive. I don't find it impossible. I think you just need to play a little bit slower, a little more passive. Let one of them kind of poke out incorrectly. I do think I want to see LRF back on the Cassidy as well. I feel like I'm not getting that same action play that I want to see from this Sojourn, in Maryland taking a play right out of Texas Tech's book.
It's funny there, at least to get the read, trying to just poke around and maybe distract Texas Tech, but they're running right through. And they've got that high ground now, and they've got Jake Heezus on the Reaper as well to fight this. So you really can't contest this, I think, if you're Texas Tech. You really want to try and just play point as much as you can. First pick going in the way of Texas Tech. They've got Funny on that flank, who's trying to deal a lot of poke, but there's the trade immediately, C3E. Trying to keep his Lucio alive. Sustainability is the name of the game here, and as Tony is cleaning things up, it feels like Texas Tech just don't have enough to live through. Mobilize at least getting the first pick here for them, but they're going to be forced to back up. You still notably got Clamps alive, so there's still some blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with, a potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it, but I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to call that out early. I think they're going to try to get on the point just shy of that third point tick. I think two of them are going to go down. It's going to be capped before the fight can actually end. Venture goes up. Nobody goes down. Going to be taking 200 damage into a full 310. Going to be taken out of the equation early. There's the one that goes down that I predicted. Let's see if the second one is not far to follow. I do think the points capped mid-fight, just as I said it would be. It's a classic we see on Kings Row all the time, and it looks like Maryland's still going to win this fight, which all this does is buy them more time to get this card further.
Yeah, you gambled on that point, and all you get is a stagger. You're welcome. That's going to be rough, and obviously the clock, so much to work with here. Maryland have got 5 minutes, and they've got a Zarya. We've got a Reinhardt, though.
I'm gonna give it. I think we're literally going full Zarya Buster. I think that's the idea here. They want to go hyper damage. They want to stick her in the microwave, and they want to put Bastion on the card for as long as they can. Going into the engagement, one of my favorite supports in the entire game, getting some play time. My boy Baptiste on the table. First time I ever hit top 500, I was one-tricking Baptiste. So he holds a very special place in my heart. Let's see if we get this engagement coming through here again. This grab could be colossal if they choose to take it. Tony has to use it just to stay alive. They were going to pin him out of the equation early. Lamp goes up. Everybody lives, but all the damage down on both sides. This backline flank from Funny. This Ryan should be going down in just a moment. LRF not going to be far behind. It's going to be a triple kill. Mobilize able to find the Tony tank. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I think the Zarya bubble, while it didn't actually net a ton of kills, what it did was slow down Texas Tech. Like, they were ramming through Maryland with that Bastion. They had so much damage output. The moment that they got Zarya, though, they were stuck, and that allowed for Maryland to pick them off as soon as they were off the bubble. There's 3. Oh. Funny?
He's having a good time. We can call it a misinput, but I
BM.
think that was, we'll call it a tactical BM. Yeah, it's going to be throwing that out a little bit early.
I can smell that BM from all the way over here.
I wish we could see his player cam. Oh. Whoa! Deep into the back line, mobilized, no mobility to get out of the way, right back into the portal. Desperate to try and stay alive. They're going to be able to do so. Down to support. One elimination on the side of Texas Tech could really turn this around just to keep things up and running. Clintaloon goes down. Epic Z able to drop that beat, keep the team up and running. Tony has fallen as well. They've got to watch for the back cap here. Nemmer's going to be the only one on point. Should lose the 1v1, but with Wraithform going up this early, it's going to be up to Jake Keezus to try and make it out. He's not going to try. He's going to try to take somebody out with him. C3E falls, and Texas Tech, this is actually a really good point to try and stabilize now. They've got the closer spawn. They've got the ult advantage, and now they've got the corner play as well.
Yeah, it was a really good push from Texas Tech. Like, despite the fact I think Jake Keezus had a really good position on that Reaper, Texas Tech were getting shoved back through that
they're
choke.
getting funneled.
Yeah, and that was the important thing, right? Like, Texas Tech, they want to battering ram through Maryland. They want to bust the Zarya bubble with that turret, and they want to run through with that Ryan and have a little bit more sustain. I think it's a great call. I think it's better than Hazard in this current state of the game because you just have so much damage output. But Jake Keezus now off of that Reaper, going over to the Hanzo. Clamps might be getting too aggressive. He's got that fat shatter. No more Suzu left.
Use it, though. 3
players inside of this choke, but they're all falling. Nice. Jake Keezus with 2, and it's all but over. Not much Epic Z-Ray can do. Texas Tech gonna die with 4 ults to their name, and Maryland will recover map number 2.
Imagine he kills 5 with his Bastion ult. That'd be so funny. He's not gonna get it out in time, unfortunately, but that is gonna be a really good showing from the side of Maryland. I think my big note for Texas Tech is exactly what I'd predicted going into this. They got a little bit too aggressive. A couple of them feed out of position. Maryland capitalizes. They collapse onto the play there, and it works just insanely well. Jake Keezus, no shock here.
There you go. Incredible ban phase as well. I feel like that's what set this whole thing up, right? Like, no tank bans. You just allow Tony to run roughshot on that Zarya. So now the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to ban the Zarya now? Are you going to keep
probably.
that?
No, probably. I think probably.
I feel like you'd rather deal with a D.Va at this point, or you'd rather mirror up that aggressive comp that you've been seeing out of Texas Tech. You'd rather play against that dive than a Zarya, because that Zarya just completely walked through them. So much damage at the end of that game.
And I think it's definitely tough going in because it's not like the Zarya obviously helps, but the team composition and the play style just changed.
Yeah.
And it was really a good showing from Maryland. They said, hey, we had one composition on control. Let me show you what another one looks like. And I think it really did benefit them well. It was a good showing early. And going into this next map here, I think it's going to be Escort, which our options I think would be Dorado, Shambali, Havana, and Circuit Royale. Probably going to be seeing Circuit Royale here. I think that'd be my big guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe
too.
Dorado. That's not impossible.
I definitely know these things. I agree. Yep, Circuit Royale, 100%. I actually love that map, to be fair.
I like them all. I'm not the biggest fan of Shambali, just simply because it doesn't really lend well to the characters, the heroes that I'm tending to play. So it's definitely going to be a personal preference more than anything. I love the aesthetic of the map.
That's right.
I think the aesthetic is super nice, but it's just not my favorite map in the world. I think of the ones we're seeing, I'd like to see Circuit Royale. I think that could work really well. It could lend well to playing Sojourn, like somebody so badly wants to try and do here. I think that could work well. I do want to see Cassidy come back out. The Cassidy was hot. The Cassidy was hitting shots, and I think it's just going to be that value that Texas Tech felt like maybe they were lacking a wee bit.
Yeah, maybe an underrated aspect of that game was the Cassidy ban, right? Like, we didn't talk about it that much, but it certainly felt like it hurt. But we've got Dorado. It's going to be Maryland on attack, so... the ban phase is what's really interesting me here, because it feels like there's a very standout pool of characters that are working super well for Maryland. Typically in this sort of level, I feel like you kind of get that, where it's like, oh, this guy's really good at Zarya, right? Like, he's going to play Zarya all the time. He's so comfortable. Because collegiate's all about comfort. You want to be comfortable in your play. So
very much so. And the good news is, these are best of 5 series. I don't think we've talked about that yet. So that means one of these teams has to win 3 maps going into the matchup, and we're going to be seeing a 1-1 on the board. So typically, if it's 3-0, you only get to see the first 3 maps, but we're at the very least going to get to see Push as well. And I love Push. I think it's a very fun map type. Fun fact, I'm willing to admit this nowadays, when it came out, I hated it.
Yeah,
I didn't understand how to play it. I thought it was really frustrating. It was so different from anything else we were seeing in Overwatch at the time. But the more I played it, the more it grew on me, and I just really I think it's super fun to play. I think it's even more fun to watch.
I feel the same way now about Flashpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually think Flashpoint sucks, and I don't think I'm going to let go of that.
I think Flashpoint is it's different. It's different. I think it's the fastest paced map type, which makes it the largest learning curve. You have to be playing full throttle 100% of the time. There's no downtime, and that's really hard to play into. But it also forces teams to play under stress, and that's kind of what separates the goods from the greats.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like seeing Texas Tech, I think it's a good segue because they have been under a lot of stress, and it feels like they've been sort of, you could kind of feel it.
Yeah.
But they had the confidence to go for that full swap on that Reinhardt. That at least tells me that there's something there, right? Like they're not chalked out of this. They're willing to try new things. They're willing to gamble on that composition, and I think that's what's important because it's what gave them success on the first map.
Yep, and something to talk about as well. You know, we talked about the travel fatigue that we could be seeing. There's a one-time zone differential for Texas Tech as well, so they're playing this at technically 9 o'clock in the morning. And I talk about that goes for all teams, even if you're in your own time zone. These are players typically playing 6 p.m. or later.
These are
on an
gamers.
Average. These are gamers. These are kids playing between the ripe hours of 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. And then coming in here and playing this at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, it's tough. It's a big shift. You know, it's funny you're playing the same game, but something about it just feels so different going into this land setting, this land circumstance. So it could be a little bit of a learning curve for these players. I think Texas Tech, you know, I gave them a lot of excuses at the beginning. They were tired. They were nervous, but I've got to give them credit. A lot of that seems to be missing. They really seem to be falling into a strong showing here. They're not able to win map 2, but it's not like it was a blowout. They really fought well. They were able to get their strong footing here. And going into Escort, I'm really excited to see how Texas Tech pulls out of this.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a complete, dog walk.
Not at all.
This isn't
Not
a
at all.
DPS diff or anything like that. Like, this is very much a close game. And it feels like both teams are on some sort of equal level, but I feel like in terms of strategy, in terms of less mistakes, honestly. I mean, oh gosh, I hate to be that guy to say that. But yeah, I think Maryland have just been making less mistakes. You see a lot less forced ults that, kind of just don't really work out.
And I believe this is correct. Dorado is our map of choice. Okay. I believe Lucio and Diva are our bans, which Lucio is a nutso pick.
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating because obviously that cripples both teams.
Yes.
That hurts both teams a lot going into this. Diva taken out as well. Dorado is notoriously a good map for Diva, for Winston, for what we'd refer to as our dive tanks, the ones who can take high ground in an instant. So I'm really kind of baffled because I don't suspect Tony to be playing Zarya here. I don't think it's impossible, but I don't think this map lends itself super well to Zarya either. I think this is really going to be a fascinating choice.
Yeah, and I think it also it's a ban from Maryland, right? Like they banned the Lucio.
Yep.
They know they can flex onto the Wu Yang. We've been seeing a Lucio from
check.
Epic Z-Ray every single game.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I keep doing this. I got to stop
That's
doing
okay. Hey, listen, you're doing it. Somebody's giggling every time. Listen, hey, they've got so many supports to choose from. You ban Lucio. I mean, how many supports does that leave?
Wu Yang.
6, 7? Is that? Just kidding. It is more than that, but I had to reference the hand thing because you were doing it.
It would be true if there was only,
like
3
2
supports
less
in the game.
3 less supports in the game. Regardless, the joke wasn't even a good one if it did make sense. I'm willing to say that, but going into this, I think, banning that Lucio, you bring up a good point. You do that with intent. You do that with the idea of, like, we're going to play someone else.
Yeah.
Can they play someone else?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question. Epic Z, as you mentioned, has been on Lucio the entire time. He was playing Lucio the whole time they were warming up, but doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Listen, we play characters we love. We play characters that are good, but Lucio, there's other options. We can see Kiriko. We can see Wu Yang come to the table. Wu Yang is very meta in kind of the upper metal, lower masters rank. We're seeing that a lot. I don't really know what top 500 looks like right now. I'm not currently up there. So we'll have to see what that looks like. But I do think there's going to be a weird fascination of going into this. They swap out Diva. I don't think she was a given. I think that's a really fascinating choice from Texas Tech. But Lucio, that's a Herculean task. That's a big change to have to swap your team comp like that.
Got a lot of speculation, but at this point, we're kind of just not much we can say without a game in front of our face. So we're going to take a quick break as the teams get ready for our map number 3. And I'm lying because I was just joking. I'm getting you ready for the game.
We wanted to keep you guys on guard.
Ooh. Yeah, so we can keep talking about that a little bit. And I think, you saw flexibility out of Texas Tech. They brought the Baptiste, right? Like, it's there. It's there.
They brought the Baptiste, but respectfully, it also did not work. I'm willing to say, it didn't do poorly. I think it was just tough into the team comp that we saw.
I mean, it is Dorado.
I don't think that was his fault. So, going into Dorado on this, it's going to be tough to hypothesize. I like the way you kind of said that. We can only talk about hypothesization so much. We need to see what's happening in front of us, and we're just a couple of seconds away from being able to do that. I believe it's nighttime Dorado as well, which is actually my preference. I don't love the daytime, but I think I was just so used to the nighttime. Going into this, I don't know. It's a whole lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's going to be we get stuck on first point or we make it all the way to third, and that's going to be the back and forth over and over. So going in, we're getting a little bit of early play here. I believe Texas Tech is going to be bringing out a couple of things we're not expecting to see, but with how much time is left on the clock, I don't want to quite say it.
Yeah. I'm going to hold my tongue. I don't know if your eyesight permits you to see that.
I'm squinting, but I see it. I'm squinting, but it's there.
We'll hold off on that for now. But, yeah, no, I think, the tank composition is going to change a lot in this game. Like you mentioned, Zarya is not going to be great here. You want a lot of high ground folk, right? So I think we're going to see a completely different game. Not relying so much on that dive, but more so relying on, Junkrat.
My baby. My baby.
You're more so going to be relying on, like...
Who did I hit?
I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
This game's crazy.
Almost took LRF out of the equation there. It's pretty funny. Oh, okay, interesting. So this is important to note that I didn't want to bring this up until Texas Tech did it. We see the role swap. We see the swap, but we see Zadoink entering the battlefield here with Epic Z-Ray in the lineup here. This Wrecking Ball goes in early. A great capitalization on the ball. He gets pinned on the corner, though. That's going to be taken out immediately. You cannot get stuck on the wall like that, or you're going to get punished in that same breath. Now, it's not going to be the end of the world. Texas Tech just has to back up a little bit. If they can get a pick, they can slow down Maryland, but I think full backpedal, not a bad idea.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, it's his ball, right? Like, he's going to be able to walk through, but Clint Balloon, not when he hits that knife right onto Zadoink. That's a new name I have to...
Yeah, Zadoink. I love it. I think it's a really funny one.
I got to break it out.
It's a good one to say. We see now the good news. Epic Z-Ray already back in the back line. Gets the pick onto Funny. Is going to be able to stabilize the cart just a little. Look at the stagger here. Wants to keep himself alive. Wants to stay stalled out of that fight. Tactical reset coming through. The pile driver of the teleporter. The only issue is Zarya burns through Wrecking Ball like nobody's business. Gets that mega health pack, not even at half HP.
Loving the Zarya with the Symmetra, right? Like, now you're able to transport her to high ground. Now you're able to fight Texas Tech whenever they want to try and play the high ground advantage. But for how long are you able to fight that? It's going to be on Nemris. There's the recall. Nemris still holding on to his. Wu Yang taken down very low. LRF, unfortunately, not able to get that finish. But Maryland still getting completely poked out of this corner. Texas Tech, very low HP pool as well. Epic Z-Ray forced to back up. Great flank from Jaquizis as well, finding LRF. And you've got to trade at the very least. There's the touch, but the ball's super low here, running right into the Symmetra turrets. And that is completely throwing Texas Tech off, unable to play with that tank. And that is the point captured for Maryland.
I love the idea of a support, an Ana player having the name Mobilized because you're playing the least mobile character. That's a very funny bit. I wonder if that's kind of part of the joke there. It's going to be that first point cap. Now, unfortunately, Texas Tech, they don't win that out, but it was good looks, I think. I think they're playing a tough composition to run ball into. It's almost like Maryland knew that was coming. They've got the Symmetra, they've got the Zarya, they've got the Wu Yang on the table as well, with a couple of ultimates in that back pocket. Maybe we go into like Nano Sojourn, Nano Ball if that comes to the table, but I think one grab really stalls out Texas Tech, and they've got no way to deflect it, to eat it, to stop it. They just have to tank it.
No shields, no shields. You could even see a Zarya match, like a mirror as well, but there's the TP. Ball's coming through. LRF's got the line of
but
sight.
it's hitting no one.
There's the pulse bomb from Funny. The response is just too much from Maryland, using their ult so well, retaking high ground, just getting right back to business.
This is definitely a tough look to it. Zadoink goes down. That's a really late stagger, especially on a support with minimal mobility. He's got a little bit, but it's not super fast or anything. It's no teleport, it's no speed boost, but it works out well. Going into this, Maryland winning these fights dry. They use 2 ultimates on that. They've got 3 in the pocket, and that's kind of like the win con, right? You only want to use 2 ults, force out Suzu just to try and stay alive, and you're still going to go down for those efforts. Teleport not in the pocket. Kitsune goes out, Grav used as well, and Maryland definitely just feeling confident. You can tell they're over-capitalizing on these ultimates. They want to get in hyper-aggressive, and it looks like it's going to be working out well. Just not sure we're going to be seeing what we want to here.
Feels like Texas Tech are just not playing their own game anymore. Their ults are forced. It doesn't feel like they're doing them because they have to. Like,
stuck on a back foot defense.
And just constantly staggered, right? Like, it never feels like it's a 5v5 anymore. It feels like that confidence is gone now. Maryland are just running ramp shot on them. And again, it is just the comp. Like, there's not much you can do against a Symmetra if you're on this ball. You're very limited.
And I think the problem is Epic Z-Ray is a ball player.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really a tank player.
Exactly.
If he's got another tank in the pocket, maybe it's Diva, and maybe that's part of the problem, right? Maybe we're seeing kind of that circumstance because you do bans after swaps. Right. So that's kind of the hard part. Maybe we go into something like an Orisa, I don't think would be the end of the world. Maybe a Sigma could work really well as well. Maybe back to a Hazard if Epic Z-Ray has a Hazard in the pocket. The problem is running out of time. I mean, you've got a couple of meters left. You've got 4 minutes on the clock. Anything 2 minutes or higher on this map is monumental. Clint Balloon is finally going to be going down. Z-Ray getting really confident on the back of it. No minefield in the back line. I don't even know what happened to the first one.
Still got that C3 ult, though. It's so much to work with.
Nice.
Comes through. Epic Z-Ray, though, still finding picks. Importantly, that's the Symmetra gone. No more traps to worry about now. You're able to kind of get your way through and push on this point. Texas Tech steadily bringing this one back as Tony getting down pretty low. Missed pulse bomb, though, from Nemris, but it is at least picked off. Tony goes down, and Texas Tech back to, I feel like a little bit more of a confident level, starting to play aggressive again. Obviously, Jake Keys is going down early in that fight.
I mean, they've also got a colossal spawn advantage now. Yeah. This is one of the more aggressive spawn advantages in the game. We tend to see this on all escort maps where the defense does get to play a little more aggressive because their respawn is right there versus the attacking team, who tends to be a little bit further away. They have to play their fights a little bit safer, which allows a hyper-aggressive team like Texas Tech to play hyper-aggressive. They get to live up to that play style, and let's see how well they're going to be able to do it. They get Tony on the catch-out here. Huge pile driver, 3 players in the catch-up. A lot of utility going to be used just to keep Tony alive, but unfortunately, no follow-up from Texas Tech to try and put that player down. C3E first to go down. TT still in the lead, 5-4.
Yeah, it was a good... I mean, honestly, just getting that control and, like, I feel like forcing Maryland back was all you needed, but the ball's really low.
Oh, very
Jake Keys
nice.
gets that pick that he needs, and now no tank left for Texas Tech. 2 dead, 3 are all falling.
Girl, run! Oh, man, Mobilize says, if I'm going down, you're coming with me. But
going down with 4 ults, though. You at least have a little bit of utility to work with.
I think Mobilize going down really isn't the end of the world. I would have liked to see a teleport out instead of further in, but hey, to each their own. You still got to pick off it, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Pile drive going to be coming in. I assume Minefield going to be used somewhat soon here just to stall out the cart. The issue is Zarya can use that to charge herself back up. Most of those mines end up on the high ground. I don't love the localization of it, but it is going to be able to create a little bit of space for Texas Tech to re-engage. Kitsune as well, not being utilized. Maryland said, oh, they're going to Kitsune. Let's just move.
Just thinking the same thing, right? Like, they took the space, but that's about it. You were going for kills there. Mobilize at the very least finds his, but this is a really easy comeback, I feel like, for Maryland. They're able to respawn, just TP right back in, so not much pressure lost, I feel. And there's C3 with the pick onto Nemris. A lot more important. That Pulse Bomb is gone, but so is Funnies. It's been a game of missed Pulse Bombs, but that's not what matters. You got 2 picks here for Maryland. Tony in with that Wu Yang ult, trying to force back the entirety of Texas Tech. He's also got that grab well to work with. He's got them stuck in their spawn, and they might not even know it. Fully beamed up as well. In comes the pile drive, but that ball is taken down instantly now. Texas Tech, not much left here. Grab goes in.
Nice.
Both DPS is caught. Fight over as Maryland walk through, and Texas Tech, they're going to need quite a response.
Yeah, Maryland College Park really doing a great job. Now, the good news is Texas Tech got that way down. There was a world where Maryland was capping with like 4 minutes on the clock, and the Texas Tech able to get that down to just over a minute, I believe a minute 24. So it's a lot to work with if we go to overtime, but it's not the end of the world. Now, the bad news for Texas Tech is if they want to stay alive here, if they want to try to win Dorado, they are going to have to go into extra rounds. They are going to have to take us into the full reset with however much time they can have left. And then if they don't do that, well, it is going to be 2-1 in favor of Maryland. Texas Tech keeping it close, but close isn't going to win this for you. You've got to find those wins.
Yeah, and it feels like they just got complete. I mean, it was a comp diff that entire time. Like, it's kind of hard to go up against that.
It was hard.
Because how do you gauge, like, oh, what did we do wrong? You can't really, because it's just, oh, the ball just completely gets demolished every fight. And it's kind of hard to really, adapt off of that. So now we're starting to wonder if that role swap is actually what's hurting, because if Epic can only really play ball, this is problematic. Yeah, he's got a great health pool to work with, but there's just so much damage for Maryland.
And also, Wrecking Ball has never really been the same in Overwatch 2 in a big way, because in Overwatch 1, for those that don't know, there were 2 tanks. It was a 6v6, and there were 2 tanks where one tank, you're looking at an Orisa or a Reinhardt, would exist in the front line, and then we would see Wrecking Ball. He'd go all the way around the map. He'd go in the back line. He'd pick off a support. But when he's the only tank, you can't really play like that anymore, because then you leave your front line wide open. And I don't think Wrecking Ball ever really recovered in terms of viability. I don't think he's bad by any means. He's just so drastically different that it feels like a completely new character. Jake Keys is bringing one of my favorite characters, one that Jake Keys is notorious for, this May. A really strong character, especially against a Wrecking Ball. Another counter into this ball is going to be tough.
I was going to say, it just seems like the game's getting harder for them every single time that Maryland switched their comp. But you've also
got the Rhine principle. You can't play that character because they have 5,000 counters.
Right, and you don't honestly have a ton of shield options at that point. The Sigma is great on this point and on the high ground, but
Sigma's bad against Zarya.
And
then you're running into a new problem.
You've also got the option for Jake Keys to switch to the TP, so that high ground might not matter that much. First pick immediately goes in the favor of Maryland. Nemris falling. They've swapped over to LRF on this fray, I feel like, to give Maryland a harder time at finding these picks, but as Nemris falls early, it feels like Maryland are telling us that it's not a problem at all.
Epic Z really overstaying his welcome here, trying to get even a single pick. Should grapple through them, trying to barrel off the high ground. Tony is going to be taken out. No bubbles online here. It is going to be that grapple that comes through LRF with a follow-up onto Klimpaloon. Finally, a 5-3 advantage in favor of Texas Tech.
Yeah, I love this Freya
nice
to be able to contest the high ground there. C3 has been doing great on this Wu-Yang, and he's going to be able to stay alive. So much utility to do that with. All you need is a few shots, but he is going to kind of be forced to back up here, it feels like. But for now, still doing that damage. Mobilize will finally join him. It was a good stall effort, but for now, Maryland might be looking at a different comp. Something to deal with that Freya, potentially, unless you just trust in your icicles that much.
And you really might. I mean, Jake Keys is really strong here, one of the best ultimates in the game, really good at localization into point cap or to point prevention, really good at stalling that card when they need to. And I really have like this, I'm having this premonition of Epic Z-Ray going down really early in this fight. We see Minefield almost online. If he can get that out and then go down, it's a lot less important. Wow, I'm shocked that Emrys trusts that he's not going to go down there, does not use recall. LRF going to be taken not quite out either.
So much damage. I feel like that Zarya is very charged. There's your beat, or not beat. There is your Kitsune rush, but Nemris actually finds the trade. Yeah, the ball is dead. Despite the fact that you have a Tracer pick, it really doesn't matter. But LRF trying to find something off of this, trying to chunk Tony down. But there's really not much you can do. Texas Tech are just completely stalled out here, and you've got the strongest ult in the game for Maryland coming up next. This is just rough.
I mean, you've got two incredible stall ultimates here. You've got that Grav, you've got that Blizzard. Put them together. It is a nightmare. Texas Tech, once again, I made this comment, they've got nothing to eat it. They've got nothing to deflect it. They've got nothing to prevent it, except for maybe Suzu. But then you're walking out into the Blizzard. You're not going to get out of the Blizzard in time. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one to win, and now you're not going to win it. Zadoink already down and out.
There's a pulse bomb there. Oh, it's in the corner.
Nice.
Gets C3. 2 picks now on the DPS side. But there's the crab. Well, Tony just going to completely shut this down. Again, so many ults to work with. You've still got Jake Keys with his ult as well, but he's not even going to need to use it. Texas Tech stalled out again. A minute left. You got to start questioning what you want to do here. The FAR is coming out from Nemris. That's honestly your only option at this point.
I like it, though. I like it a lot because you look at the side of Maryland. We've got a couple of hit scam, but sorry, no, we have one hit scan. Literally just funny there on the Tracer, and it's going to be difficult. Tracer's not built to kill Farah. That's not her job. So we're going to see if this works out well, but it also depends on how well Nemris knows Farah. Is this a desperation swap? Are they trying something new because they think it'll work, or is this a character they know well? First and foremost, you got to get off the ground, my guy. You got to get up in the sky.
Yeah, and it feels like they're relying a lot on these DPS switches because they can't change the ball. Like, it just feels like they don't have the ability to do so. So they're just relying on that DPS switch. And Epic Z-Ray, again, every single time they see him, they focus him down. And now that you've got a May, there's nowhere that he can go. 25 seconds left. You only have maybe half a fight left in this once your ball respawns. So many questions about what you want to do next. For sure, though, you're going to need a larger tank pool because this is just Maryland running through you with the Zarya.
Yeah, this is definitely the tough side of playing only one character is when they get countered. You're in hot water through and through. I think it's been really difficult to play. It's not Epic Z-Ray's fault. They're just counter-playing him. They're counter-picking him. I mean, they don't call it counter-watch for no reason. That Blizzard comes out with 0 time left on the clock. Kitsune there just to try and keep Epic alive. C3E is going to be able to go down. It's going to be the first time we saw an advantage for Texas Tech, but it is going to be lost. Get the Curie. You got to take her out of the equation. It's going to be that far blast in. Tony finds it. Flint Balloon has gone down. It's going to be a very mild advantage. I believe 3v3. Tony finds it. They're going to be able to take this Zarya away from the cart, but not out of the equation. Still has full charge on the board. Minefield out. No utility.
Where's the touch?
Nobody watches Ray go through. Finds that cap. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. It's going to be a bit of a back cap, but is a back cap really going to win you this map?
Yeah, you've got that extended time, but still you've got those problems to work with. But you're getting picks now. Huge drill, but it's Suzu'd away. Epic Z-Ray, any advantage that he's trying to find, he just cannot get. Thanks to Tony, fully charged up. There's no way you can do anything about that. And still, despite the fact that Texas Tech got the push here, Maryland are still holding strong on this point.
Looking to see what we're going to be bringing to the table here. Texas Tech getting a little bit more free space on point 2 here than they really deserve, if I'm being honest. They shouldn't have been able to find that cap, but a back cap, I'm not going to call it a C9, but a back cap, it works well there. LRF does go down with the help of Jake Keys. It's going to be a huge advantage to stall out Texas Tech, and I think this choke, one of the hardest in the game to get through. I think Texas Tech needs to go through in stride. They need to try and find that cart a little bit further, and Maryland a lot of great ults to try and prevent that. Nice.
Trying to force off the high ground. Ball goes in with the Wu Yang. You burnt the bubbles, and now you go through. The tank is gone. Finally, Texas Tech find the pick that they need. That Tony on that Zarya has been so problematic all game, and now that allows for the push to come through. C3 forced to back up, but he finds Nemris, and there's the ult from Jake Keys. Is able to find the ball. The ball gets away, but Epic Z-Ray might not stay alive for long as he's getting stalled out. Jake Keys is stuck in a corner, but they don't find the pick until now. Mobilized with 2, and you're starting to finally see picks being found by Texas Tech. That ball working out so well the moment that Tony went down. He's going to die, overextending right into Maryland's hands, and immediately the fight might just flip.
honestly, it's the first overextension I'm really going to give to him because look at the amount of space that bought for Texas Tech. They have that cart so unbelievably close to point where they want it to be simply because the whole team chased after that wrecking ball. Epic Z-Ray really leading them on a wild goose chase or a wild hamster race, perhaps. It's going to be a great opening for Texas Tech. They've got a couple of ults in the back pocket, or they will in a moment here at the very least. Not sure they're going to be able to work against what Maryland's ready to bring to the table, though.
Just kind of waiting for that Kitsune. That's what matters here. Epic Z-Ray!
Oh, wow.
4 health!
4 health.
You are praying for that Suzu, and it came. But still Maryland holding that top 4 control. Nemris taken pretty low. Stalling. You've got 5 seconds left. You've got to make a plan. But Jake Keezus has found it. There's the grab. 2 dead for Maryland. And there is no time to recover this. Texas Tech are going to need to find something in this Kitsune rush. But it doesn't seem like you have enough of that damage. Jake Keezus almost losing that fight, but he'll stay alive. Funny gets LRF. It just seems like Texas Tech are holding on by a thread or maybe by a hamstring. Or a hamster.
No, that was
a
good.
hamster
I like
string.
it. I like that hamster string.
Hamster string.
Jake Keezus does find mobilized here. Epic Z-Ray has gone down as well. And it looks like Maryland in overtime here will be able to win map number 3, putting them on series point. Close, but no cigar for Texas Tech, showing great signs of life, but unfortunately just not able to put it down there on map number 3.
I was thinking about legs, and then I just the hamster string. Yeah, I mean, that's rough, right?
Hey, Kiri played the game, though.
We were talking about it the whole time. That ball just getting countered, it was super rough. It felt like Maryland did exactly what we were talking about. They slowed the game down, right? Texas Tech notoriously have been aggressive this entire game, and it feels like whenever you have a map like this where you're able to bring that stall, and when you bring the Symmetra to completely counter Epic Z-Ray, I mean, it's just rough. And again, not much he could have done there, but
it was hard.
You're kind of wondering if you had a wider tank pool there, that game would have been a lot easier.
It's definitely going to be a circumstance of, I think, really Winston might have been beneficial in there. I think going for, like I mentioned, Orisa and Sigma as well, I think could have been really great. But unfortunately, hindsight's 2020. I think that's going to be a great map to go back and VOD review. A lot of great moments to look into. I think this whole series so far, truly, albeit first point Li Zhang. Probably don't need to go back to that one, but the rest have been really beneficial. And going in, I believe our next map type is Push, the one I was just talking about. So our options are Coliseo, my personal favorite, and then Runasapi and Esperanza as well. I think those are really great map choices. I think going in, if they want to be pushing this Farah narrative, you've got to go into this Coliseo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Coliseo is such an open map. You've got so much space to work with. But again, that DPS pool has been switching so much. You got to stick with something, I feel like. Get used to a play style and kind of let that tank do the rest of the work on that swap. But yeah, just commit to one thing. I think the Farah is a great pick. I think that with the lack of hit scan that we saw, and just the lack of hit scan we see in general nowadays, Farah is a great pick. It works out.
I wonder, I mean, the ban, like, dude, it's got to be Zarya. For the love of
just
God,
get him out of here.
Please ban Zarya. I think Zarya Lucio is a very likely.
My only guess is you can't ban
twice in a row.
Yeah.
I think you might be right on that. But we also, that was 2 maps in a row. Zarya wasn't banned. Kings Row and Dorado both had Zarya gameplay.
Yeah,
and it's like,
true.
put her back in the ground, man. Yeah. Put her back in the freezer. Like, you've got to try and stabilize here. I think going into that matchup, it could work really well. We're going to be looking to see what is coming to this next matchup. I think we are going to be seeing the end of Miami Drexel as well. Going into that matchup, I believe it was Drexel with a 3-0 victory. So a very dominant performance. Now, the good news, this is double elimination.
Yes.
So down but not out quite yet. Miami, no stranger to being in that underdog position, as we talked about this morning. Could be a great story coming in. But Drexel, I said at the beginning, they are not a team to be stifled with. They are a very impressive performance going into every matchup. I've seen them. I believe I knew Drexel for Valorant first. That might be incorrect, but I know this Overwatch team, they are nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and it feels like it's kind of a home invasion, right? Your number 1 seeded team is not a team from Pennsylvania. It's not Penn State. It's not Drexel, right? So there's a little bit of that home pride you kind of want to show up here at the Nittany Invitational. But yeah, you've also got plenty of other games going on, just basically directly behind us. Not exactly, but kind of like behind the wall and through all that. You've got Siege going on right now. Drexel's also playing in Siege, which is very cool. You've got Marvel Rivals, and you've got Pokemon.
Eventually. I don't know if it's live yet. I don't know if they're going yet, but they will be going later today. And speaking of later today, that's when we're going to see you. And by later today, I mean 3 minutes in the future, perhaps a little bit longer. We're going to give the players some time to stretch their hands, talk team compositions, maybe use the restroom if they've got to do that. Do that, get a snack, use the restroom, walk your dog if you have one, but come right back here for the Nittany Invitational in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.
Falls, 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, funny, not joking around here. That was
a beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third.
Play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jake Jesus, but is it going to be enough? The Kiri down and out. The 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony.
Really waking up in that fight as well. Able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stage.
Tony's taken down to a low HP. Got Kitsune Rush, but there's the pick, finally losing the tank. On the side of Maryland, we've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally
early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save, though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that, you know? That's kind of, that whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane there, finally.
But Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper-aggression off-rip map, a huge opening for Texas Tech, almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Subdiv. Yep, good job there from still Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's demeching him and letting him know about that Deadeye. Yeah, it's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out. But they aren't able to force this push at all. It's a huge Deadeye. They're going to be completely staggered to fall. Still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. You're Texas Tech. What a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%.
You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot
into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Nemris going to be caught on Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
Got Tony completely.
This, I think, I always refer to this as like King's Row .1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as out early. To 1-1 trade with a tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That B drop trying to answer out Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
No, and they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on this Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya.
But there's the trade immediately. C3E. Trying to keep his Lucio alive. Blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with. A potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it. I don't think
Maryland and Texas Tech, a game that we kind of thought was going to, I wouldn't say a blowout, but 8 seed versus first seed. Yeah. You start to question a lot, but it has been a pretty good series so far. But Texas Tech, they're starting to lose their footing a little bit here. They're going to need a huge response on this push map.
It's going to be really interesting to see Texas Tech coming into this matchup with this hyper-aggression in the sense of it's a lot on the line. You know, they come in, they don't want to go into losers immediately. Going into losers against Miami of Ohio, a very talented team that we've seen before, could be really difficult as well. So they want to win this. They want to move forward, and hopefully they're going to be able to do that. But going into Runasapi, I believe. So I was actually wrong in my prediction. I'm excited to see that, but it really makes you wonder what the bans are going to be. If Texas Tech wants to win this, it simply has to be Zarya.
Yeah, that is kind of what we've been repeating over and over again, almost like we want them to hear us.
Yeah, almost, something like that.
Yeah, no, the Zarya has been very problematic, and I feel like it's kind of a case where Tony has been like playing with this team that is allowing him to take all of this space, and it feels like the calls to stop pushing and the calls to continue. Very fluid. With Texas Tech, it's a little bit like you get some overextending here and there, and I think that's kind of the difference here with the Zarya as well. It's really easy to do that.
So. Also, Zarya, you overextend, you rarely actually die for it. That's kind of the hard part.
4 bubbles.
Right? Yeah, like I can keep myself alive forever. Like it's really pretty easy to get in and get that hyper-aggression, and then they go, oh, she's forward, kill her, and then it's like, oh, she has 4 bubbles. now she's full charge, and we're dead instead. The whole thing gets flipped on its head over and over, and I think going into this, Zarya should be the ban. Nope, it's Reaper. Texas Tech bans Reaper, and we know darn well that we're not going to see a Zarya ban from Maryland. So maybe I have to look at the ban rules. Maybe I'm forgetting something.
Yeah,
maybe something terrible is going on.
That's what I'm saying. Like that has to be what's happening here. That means we're going to see a freak, probably.
Teams cannot ban a hero of the same role twice in a map.
That's what I'm saying. The same role. That's
A hero can be banned once by each team in a single series. There it is.
So
that's the part I didn't know.
We are horrible at this.
So they banned Zarya. Well, that's why we have the binder. They banned Zarya off rip. They're not able to do so again. So that actually does make a lot of sense. But I guess the good news is they can't do that with Lucio either.
These casters suck, man.
The one guy's brand new, I heard. So.
Yeah, I know. He's casting with that Jasmine guy.
Nice. Oh, good. Very nice. Yeah, going into this, I think we're going to be seeing Reaper ban on one side. Is it going to be Wu Yang on the other, maybe?
Yeah, that's a question that you could pose there. I feel like with Wu Yang, it's been very powerful. C3 has just been able to kind of run in their back line. He's not been pressured a lot because he just speeds away whenever he feels like it. Kind of has the same Zarya problem where you just can't really kill him if you want to. Yeah, that is a question that you could see. Maybe we could see another tank ban. No Zarya ban obviously allowed. So I don't know. It's a big question mark there. And especially, I think it's smart for Texas Tech to actually ban a DPS, considering how much they've been swapping through DPS.
And I wonder, I was kind of expecting it to be Tracer, but I wonder if maybe they need their own. That's kind of the double-edged sword of a ban is like, well, we can't play it either. So I don't know. We're going to be seeing what comes to the table here. LRF, an absolute powerhouse that we've seen so far. LRF, if you can hear me, play Cassidy again, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, unbanned in this series now.
Yeah. Off the rails now.
Oh, now see, this is what I was thinking, right? You banned the Reaper for the Hazard. Now you just banned the Hazard.
Oh, that's a great ban.
Yeah, that's kind of rough because that was what was like completely shutting them out on map 2 with that Hazard.
Well, it's also extra hard because Tony's just going to play Zarya. So it's like that Hazard ban does not impact him at all. He's just going to play the character that he always loves to play.
Yeah, that is rough. So this is going to be a tough one for sure, but I don't think it's impossible. I feel like with Texas Tech, go back to what you know. You finally have I mean, it seems like because they wanted to ban the Reaper and play the Hazard, Epic Z's probably back on support. You're going to have him back on Lucio. You're a little bit more comfortable now. You're going to have to find a way to continue this dive, I feel like. In some regards, the Zarya is strong, but you have to find a way around her, and you got to get through those squishies if it's possible. I mean, it's Zarya. It's freaking Zarya, and it's Tony on Zarya.
Well, it's also, Zarya's in such a fascinating spot because it's like you have to decide whether or not, because one way to counter Zarya is to do so much damage through her bubbles and kill her. But
it's one or
if
the
you
other.
can't pull that off, all you've done is make her full charge. And then that's really going to be the difficulty of that circumstance of keeping that Zarya alive. You've wasted time. One of you's probably died trying to kill her, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a tough thing to work on. And Texas Tech, they're going to have to bring some really fascinating compositions to the table. Let's see if they're going to go for something that I referenced way earlier, is when you're one of those lower-seeded teams, you can play some weird compositions that your opponent may not be ready for.
Epic Z-Ray is on tank.
Why? This is interesting. I want to see how the strategy plays out. I want to see what the concept is here. So we assume it's going to be ball. That's kind of what the giveaway here is, that they said, okay, Hazard's offline. Let's try ball. The problem is I just do not think ball plays particularly well into Zarya.
You have a good comp for this, though. You have the Lucio back online. You've also got the Tracer to
play
the dive for. You got LRF to kind of deal with the rest. But again, it's the Zarya, right? Like, this is going to be such a problem. But I feel like this is way better of a chance for Epic Z-Ray to be enabled than last map. Here's the pile drive. You've got C3. That's a huge target to find. C3's been so problematic in your back line. Absolutely want that opening pick here. Texas Tech will immediately translate this. Jake Keys is forced to back away, and that point is completely theirs.
Very good performance here from Texas Tech. We're hesitant about the Wrecking Ball. I think we've earned the right to be, but Epic Z is showing us a great job here on the Wrecking Ball. Another pile drive in the back line. The Zarya bubble is going to be eaten very early on. Let's see if they can get this Kiri once again, or at least the Suzu out. That's kind of the goal here. You take the Kiriko out, that's golden, but the Suzu, that's still a silver medal.
We're prioritizing the supports, right? Like we said, it's an all or nothing sort of gamble. You either go for the Zarya or you go for the squishies, and we have our answer, but there's a trade. Finally, Maryland finding some ground with Klimpaloon finding the Soldier. But Texas Tech continuing to push that cart away, losing the Lucio. Here's a doink. Very low, continuing to be chased down. And Tony taking so much space off of this, but immediately the response here from Epic Z-Ray trying to sort of hold that back. And nearly the pick on the Kiriko, but Zadoink unable to find it. Texas Tech now, they're going to be completely shut out.
Yeah, little known fact about me that Klimpaloon might really appreciate. My party trick is that I can sing, I know every Phineas and Ferb song, like off the dome. I can sing every Phineas and Ferb song. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love it. So Klimpaloon, for those that don't know, that is a Phineas and Ferb reference. And it's funny because when he told me, I was like, that sounds so familiar, and I had forgotten what it was. But yeah, he's a mythical bathing suit that lives in the Himalayan mountains.
That is dope.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of Klimpaloon's playstyle as well. I love Kiriko. I think they're doing a great job keeping the team alive, being that stable backbone. And we're not talking about Klimpaloon a lot, but that's usually the good sign of a support. You don't typically talk about the good supports often.
That's right. We make fun of them. That's when the problems start.
Yep.
Texas Tech, they've got Epic Z-Ray kind of low. So they're going to have to recover just a little bit here. Maryland now just pushing their way through, trying to look for that individual pick, but it's C3E again, losing his life early. This is what gained Texas Tech that advantage early on in the next fight, but Tony gets the trade again, LRF, and a huge grab. Mobilize has got that Suzu to stay alive. Not for long, though. Both supports targeted. Tony gets them, and we're once again seeing the Zarya be not just a problem, but the problem.
The Tony turnaround here, just time and time again. Full charge Zarya. Pulse bomb is missed.
No.
I don't think we've seen a single pulse bomb land on either side. Genuinely. Like, but listen, that's not the hard part of Flank Tracer. If you can do the rest, that's not going to be the end of the world, but it still has that radius damage. Funny able to find Epic Z, and Texas Tech, just when they take the lead by only 5 or 6 meters, it is flipped right back around by Maryland, or it will be in 2 seconds.
That's the thing, Maryland, they've got a lot of momentum. They constantly are able to keep it up. With Texas Tech, it always feels like you can find that reset point in them. You can start to see when they slow things down. Kitsune rush here from Maryland immediately. They want this fight to just start. There's your ult here from the Wrecking Ball to try and force a little bit of space. LRF actually finds the pick. He was getting first picked often in this fight, but him finding this Freya makes things so much easier. Now the push will come through. Nemra's finding Clip Balloon. There's your support gone. Texas Tech are going to walk through, but there's C3 with the response.
C3E finding a gnarly turnaround there. That's going to be a great performance. I love the way the way Wu Yang fires, the way you can like curve it and whatnot. I think that is so cool, and you can get some really cool picks that C3E clearly has been practicing with. LRF could be using a great opportunity here to get that that high ground in the back line. Even just popping Visor, the scare tactic is enough. Actually getting a pick, now that's going to be huge. Unfortunately, it's a trade-out, a support for a DPS, not the trade-out you want to be seeing, especially with that beat in the back pocket. Let's see what happens here. Ball going to get capitalized early. Epic Z-Ray able to stay alive, and Texas Tech taking a bit of a, I'm not going to call it a sizable lead, but a decent one. Now 11 meters and counting.
Z-Ray just having to shimmy by this Zarya, who is constantly poking, and Funny's just going to walk the point away. And I really like this because, again, Maryland, they don't need to take this fight all the way down there. They could take it all the way up. And Funny's got a pulse bomb as well, so he's got a ton of utility to work with if he wants to push this on his own. As Maryland gets the cleanup, Texas Tech, not much they can really do about this. They can't slow this down. It seems like that lead will come back. But, again, it's a really back-and-forth game, this one. It feels like shades of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, very true. I mean, very, very, very Lijiang Tower adjacent. These teams going back and forth, and it feels like just when one takes the lead, the other rips it back. We're halfway through our timer as well. We started this map with 10 minutes. We're down to 5:15 on the clock. Almost a pick, but what a great bubble from Tony. Jake Heezus will still go down. Then, wow! LRF, thank you so much for bringing this Cassidy back to the table. It is clearly worth its weight in gold. The double kill turned into a triple with the help of Mobilize, and Texas Tech should be able to start taking a bit more of a sizable lead here.
Yeah, lovely beat there from Zadoink to get them into that fight, and Texas Tech were just able to run rough shot again. My question now is, can we hit a goddamn pulse bomb?
My question, can we hit 500 subs, chat? No, sorry, I'm just kidding. That pulse bomb, let's see if it comes through. Nemris has one in the pocket. Funny, only 30%, but Tracer's never really that far from a pulse bomb. Oh, Clint Balloon down. What an opening. They're grabbing the counter, though. Double kill comes through, and Maryland just like that, right back on top. It's the Tony turnaround once again. A 4K, nearly a team kill from Tony in the pocket. Maryland, beautiful job here. Let's see if Texas Tech can answer back, as Maryland, I believe, should get close to taking the lead, if not pretty darn close.
There's 2 supports on the Texas Tech menu. Maryland ordered them up and ate them down, and there's not much you can really do whenever you don't have your supports. That's a bit of a zoning ult, guys. Zoning ult.
No, it is. It absolutely is. I mean, it's truly and completely. Now, the issue is zoning ult when a Venture's on the other team, not necessarily valuable. Kitsune comes out from the side of Mobilize. Texas Tech trying to go for an aggressive play here. Going to be Zadoink down. Tony on the trade, though.
You got C3 as well with that ult to work with. Jake Heezus on that Kitsune rush trying to find his way through. He's got the support there. C3E, though, finds 2. Maryland just continuously recovering this. And again, it's that ult spam from Texas Tech. They don't have any intent behind it.
I mean, C3E sees Tony go down, and he hits that Thanos, I'll do it myself. Able to find 3 kills in that fight. I really like what Epic Ray is doing here. It's going to be a great opportunity to stall out the cart, to slow things down, to prevent the team from building up that number. It's guaranteed a lead for Texas Tech, but you've got to get a pick off the back of it at one of these efforts. High Noon in the back line gets a lot of damage, but unfortunately not going to be able to find it. Also, that was in the front line, not the back line. Kitsune does come out. No way. There we go. Mobilized will finally go down. And with the Kitsune from Clint Balloon, I think it will give Maryland that lead and that damage they needed to finally get this card in the position. Funny, a near team kill. Funny is not joking around.
Yeah, just all you needed was that Kitsune rush. There was no resources for Texas Tech to work with. No ults built up at all. Maryland have a pulse bomb to work with and a grab as well. I just think because of these ult timings, Maryland Maryland might have another advantage in this fight, and Texas Tech have to be aware of that. Epic Z-Ray can do all he can, but if he just gets grab-welled and completely shut down with the rest of his supports like we've been seeing in these fights, it could be very problematic.
This goes to show how close all of the teams here really are.
There's
a stick, baby! We have broken new ground. Funny gets the stick, but in a fight that I fear could be lost. Might be Funny the one that actually turn it around. Nemris is going to be able to find Klimpaloon early. Great melee down and possibly out. Can't find the wall ride. Gets chased up and through. Gets the mini, but does not have the HP they need to stay alive. Desperately amping the healing. It's going to be the 1v1. The recall comes through. Zadoink finally goes down. Funny on a 10-player kill streak disrupted by Mobilize. Texas Tech, 2 minutes left on the clock. They've really got to start moving this cart back. They're able to do so. 10-meter differential. Can they find that space they need?
Thank LRF for that miracle. He has been insane on the Cassidy so far this game. Epic Z-Ray continuing to zone out Maryland. He wants that space. There's your ult right into the future point, but you've got the Wu Yang wave to work with. It's an easy clear, but still that pressure's working out. The point not captured though. Maryland will get the touch in time. You still got the grab well, but as Tony goes down, you've now lost that ult. Pulse bomb, it hits! Jake Keezus walks right back into it, and Texas Tech have that advantage. The tank getting taken down. Very, very uncharacteristic there from Maryland, losing Tony in that fight. No grab well to work with, no grab well to speak of.
Yeah, that was a really, I mean, just what a call out there. I thought Tony was going to drop grab and then die, but held on to the grab, which could end up mattering more.
There it is.
It could matter in the end here. We see the High Noon, we see the Suzu,
Huge.
but it's going to be a massacre in favor of Maryland. Now, the good news for Texas Tech, there's only 67 seconds left on the clock. They've got nearly three ultimates in the pocket, and Maryland has to move nearly 20 meters in just a minute. Less than.
They've got a ball on defense now. As the question is, can you get that opening pick? Because if you can't, that ball's not going to be able to do much to sustain in this fight. Now, thankfully, Tony's used his grab well, right? Like, you don't have that option available. And you've got plenty of ults for Texas Tech to work with. But Jake Keezus on that flank. You've got to force that Suzu, and there it is. Nemmer's taken down low, but he'll be completely fine. It seems like that Kitsune is just going to give Texas Tech space. Maryland kind of just back up off of it.
That's a great pile drive. It is going to be Ray. No, does go down. Disaster strikes for Texas Tech. Zadoink has the beat drop, but who do you drop the beat for at a time like this? It's going to be a team wipe, I believe. Nemmer's going to be able to make it out with a great pick onto C3E. Takes that fight out of the equation, but I needed the tactical reset there. I did not need Nemmer's in the fight. I needed that pick, and then you run back to your team. Let's see if Texas Tech, they can engage with a potential beat drop. So I'm going to be seeing some power through. There's the beat. Kitsune on the answer, though. Could be potentially disastrous. We need Epic Z.
No!
It's overweight! Oh, no. Maryland was going to win that.
The Charlie Niner heard round the world.
Dude, we're going to map 5.
Oh, my God.
We're going all the way to map 5.
Oh, no.
I don't think we have a replay cam set up, but I wish we did because the replay on that must be insane. That was just disastrous at the time there. They sneak it in. They fall off. They didn't realize how fast that wick was going to burn away. And it burns away in an instant. That's going to be taking us all the way to map number 5, the 5th and final map, Flashpoint, which, like Control, I can only assume will be incredibly close.
Yeah, and incredibly aggressive probably. I mean, with the comps that we're seeing now, maybe you keep Epic Z-Ray on that
Dude,
ball.
you might, honest.
There's the confidence, and that's what I mean. Like, that map 4 was a lot better of a chance to show that out. And look at them. Texas Tech.
We hear you, LRF. We hear you, my man.
Man's ready. They're so happy about it. You got to wonder for Maryland, are they starting to feel the nerves? They're losing.
I mean, it's not even nerves. I think it was just that because Maryland, they're in that moment. You are that close to winning. You are that close. You need 2 kills to win.
All the advantages.
And it's over. All the advantages in the world. It happens all the time that we slip off the cart like that. It is pure disaster, but things are looking good for Texas Tech. And I do love the opportunity. This shows how close the teams here really are. This is the 1 and 8 seed. We're going all the way to map number 5 for our first stream series of this entire weekend. We've got, I believe, 5 more series on the docket for today, and then we've got both semifinals and the grand final, potentially lower finals as well. We've got the replay as well. I cannot wait to see this. I didn't even get to process what happened. It was so quick. So let's take another look at this. The card's open. We see the dive off for Ray, and it truly, they just walk off. They go for the chase. They go to find the Kiriko. Who disappears?
Where's Tony in all this?
That's what I want to know. I don't know if we have the replay on Tony, but let's see. I think this just is. Tony walks out on the cart.
I think he's back. Like,
And he's back too far. We've got Venture too far this way, Tony too far the other. They go for Epic Z, and look, the card, there's nobody there. He is just by himself. Oh, poor boy. What's the robot has a name, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh gosh.
I want to say Bob, and that's the wrong guy.
I just like calling him the
you know, that does remind me of a point I wanted to bring up earlier. I don't know if the players can hear me. I want to know if LRF has an Ashe so bad. I want to know if he has a pocket Ashe so bad, because I think it would work so well. I think Bob is such a good ultimate for moments just like that, actually. Bob can stay on the cart when nobody else is there, and you've got to wonder what we're going to be looking at going into this next map. It's going to be New Junk City, Suravasa, or Atlas, and I do believe it is New Junk City coming in. The question is, what do our bans look like? Because respectfully, all the characters, all the heroes that matter have been banned. Oh, no way. Wait.
Right?
I'll throw up.
You have to.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, you're right. What else do you do, right?
I felt it in my
loins. I think you're right. I think you're right. It's going to be that ball ban coming through, and I think that comes through after the swaps were allowed.
And that's what I'm saying,
I think
right?
Ray has to stay in.
Yeah. So not only does he have to stay in, but now you have to kind of concede with your team. Like, what do we do? Because we have we very easily shown. Oh, he's looking at. Yeah, I'm talking trash. I'm sorry. He's easily shown that Wrecking Ball is kind of the only tank that they've been running. So you have to find a way to switch around this. I don't know if Epic's going to be on that tank. I mean, I guess he has to. I don't know.
I don't know if he has to, honestly. I don't know the logistics on that. I don't know what comes first, if it's bans or if it's swaps. Let me. Selected hero bans may apply to both teams. Roster locks and substitutes must happen before hero bans. It's written right here in the rules. We've got it here in the binder. Big shout out, I believe Cabbage made this binder. Shout out my boy. Very helpful binder. So coming in, it is, I mean, it's tough, but it's also like.
What if they swapped? What if they swapped in anticipation? Would that be crazy?
Maybe that's why these chairs were empty a second ago.
I don't know what they look like, so we'll have to.
I only know LRF because he's closest to the camera.
This is that would be an absolutely insane read. I'm gonna freak out.
It would be something. I mean, we're gonna. They're talking right now. I think they've got. I think it's an allotted 5 or 7 minutes before we have to jump into the map. So I think it makes a lot of sense to come through here with that hyper aggression, and I don't know, man. You got to talk about every aspect right now, because if Epic can't play anything else, we're in hot water. The good news is, if Epic can't play anything else, everyone can play Orisa. That's the good news. Everybody can play Orisa. She ain't tough.
Yeah, but then you have to play Orisa, and
who wants to do that? There's a different problem there.
I'm an Orisa player. No, you're not.
I want to say something crazy. And Overwatch players in the room, if you disagree with me, feel free to make yourselves vocal about this. If you can play ball, I think you can play diva. I don't think you're going to be like the diva GOAT. Like, I don't think you're going to be amazing, but I think the fundamentals are similar enough. I think there is a play style there.
There's a push.
Yeah. Like, I think there's a high ground advantage. There's an ultimate that explodes. Like, I think there's similarity enough that it works.
I think for Epic Z-Ray, he just wants a character with a boop, right? He's playing Lucio. He's playing ball. Diva's gonna.
He likes that. Diva has a technical boop. It's just very small.
Yeah. You just ram into people, though. Yeah. That's what he likes. He likes playing ball.
Dude, I miss, I think right before Hazard came out, a lot of people theorized that, because Diva's part of like that like Gundam mech squad, and a lot of people theorized that one of the guys she worked with was going to be put in the game. And people made like these like hero concepts for me. I can't think of his name, but he looked so cool. And now I'm just like, darn, I kind of wish. You know, like maybe one day he will be put in, but he looked awesome.
So many good collabs. The Joker skin for Wu Yang. I don't even play Persona. I bought that. Are you kidding me?
No, honestly, me neither. But I was like, I want to play Persona. Don't get me wrong. I love Persona. I'm a huge turn-based guy. Claire Obscure is my favorite game in the world. Big shout out Claire Obscure. All the Claire Obscure fans out there. Game of the year, baby.
Probably.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Right?
No disrespect to its contenders, but I think it's in really good shape to be winning that. Anyway, sorry, back to Overwatch. I can talk about Claire Obscure forever. So, New Junk City, one of my more preferred Flashpoint maps. I'm not super huge on this game mode. I think, admittedly, I haven't played it a lot. So, I do want to be seeing what comes to the table here. We don't talk about it yet. It could be swapped out, but not quite a mirror matchup in the DPS department. But we are seeing a lot of similarity. We're seeing a Zarya. We're also seeing a Kiri Lucy.
Zodoink's been comfortable on that Lucio so far, but with Nemris, it seems like you want to pop the bubble, right? Like that's your strategy.
That's the name of the game for sure.
You've decided now to go the dive. Zarya did for now. LRF just going to get walked down here. Tony with 2. It is an easy cleanup here for Maryland as they capture this first point with ease as Epic Z-Ray goes down first.
And Jazz, as a very wise cartoon dog once said, Ruh-roh. This is tough. This is a tough situation to be in. Texas Tech, they find themselves in this Zarya 1v1 against a very, as it was referred to in the notes, top-ranked Zarya here. Tony is just bringing the heat early on. Maryland, they want to win this, but Texas Tech, I mean, showing up in troves.
Got Tony now just trying to deal as much damage as he can, and yeah, that's the thing. Epic Z-Ray's trying to match that pressure, but Tony is playing this so well. There you go. First pick there. Tony not fully charged up, but now he is able to apply that pressure, and I think it's a good move to make. You want to force Texas Tech back. Try not to let them force their advantage, but C3 getting taken down very low. He might fall next. Nemris hits that shot, so no more supports there. You've only got Clipaloon alive. That is a point capture for Texas Tech. Notably, Maryland will back up. They'll only lose one on this fight and immediately get back into it.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big opportunity for Texas Tech to turn this around because 64% feels like a lot. But in control, you get 1% for about 1.3 seconds. In Flashpoint, it's per about 0.7.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit faster. You come in, you gain that percentage faster, and every second counts. It's going to be Texas Tech getting some action early. A very aggressive grab from Tony, but one that seems to be working. So I'm not going to be particularly critical of it. They're going to be able to find 3 here, which should turn into a clean 5. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it out, especially Nemris with very minimal mobility. And that should be Maryland able to find this first Flashpoint.
2 definitive fights to 1 sort of fight from Texas Tech, right? Like, we're seeing so much pressure being applied from Maryland, and it just feels like that comfort for Tony is working out well. He's able to play around this comp. He's able to get his charge up relatively quickly with what Texas Tech are bringing. Now, obviously, you have the threat of the break.
Yeah.
I feel like the moment that break comes through, you actually have an opening. But Tony's managing his time well, and I feel like he's playing in really good positions to make that work. So here we go. Next Flashpoint coming through. Epic Z-Ray already on that aggressive position. He's actually flanked, I believe. I can't tell you that.
This is tough because this is one of those maps where every off angle feels like a flank. You know, it feels like you kind of have to get into that situation. We're going to see a bit of a pseudo car wash here with this barrier going up. LRF will go down to Jake Keys. The beat drop too little too late from Zadoink. We need 1 elimination on the side of Texas Tech, and unfortunately, it's going to be another one going down. Elimination on the side of Texas Tech. Going to guarantee a first point cap here, a second point cap for Maryland College Park. They are really showing up in troves here on this Flashpoint. Texas Tech needs to lock in. They need to unlock that 6th chakra. It is the 11th hour, and they do not want that swan song to be sung. They've got to show up now or never.
Yeah, no support ults to work with as well. It is a dire situation here from Texas Tech. They're going to have to play these DPS ults so well, but LRF already almost getting caught out. He's going to be able to back away. But Epic Z-Ray, I mean, yeah, it feels like he's doing enough on this Zarya, but these ults from Maryland are still so well timed. And with Texas Tech not having a Kitsune Rush to go into this with Clipaloon having a beat to respond to either one of these ults, there's so much you can do here. But LRF chunking down Jake Heezus. Funny found as well. They're doing so much damage. Texas Tech have a foothold in this site, but it doesn't matter once that beat comes through. Once that beat is in, Clipaloon is going to be able to get his team alive through this, and he does. And as Epic Z-Ray falls, you've lost your tank. No support ults to work with in this. It's just going to be crumbling now.
Has Ray grabbed yet?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he's
I
really.
think he just got it.
Admittedly, I don't think he's really had the opportunity. I don't think it's like his fault, but I was just keeping terms. I think Tony's on their second grab. I think Ray's only had it the once. Mobilized a great pick here, but unfortunately the rest of the team just not in the pocket to capitalize off the back of it. Tony on a grab is going to be able to turn around and bubble goes in the way early on, but the pulse bomb from Funny, almost a guaranteed stick. Oh, LRF tries to take one down with him, but unfortunately going to be DEAD instead.
4-4 Funny. It is not a joke anymore for Maryland, though, as they have got their second Flashpoint. And Texas Tech are eating up. I mean, they're being eaten up by this ball ban, it feels like. The Zarya not matching up. I think that Texas Tech, their strategy of trying to pop the ball has only made it worse, as Tony has been able to play so aggressively with full charge. Here they go again. Second push coming through. There's the grab. They found Tony. They popped the bubble with the TP. The Zarya gets away.
Jake Heezus, you freak, bro. That was incredible. Still going to go down, but that teleporter literally could not have been better. Keeps Tony alive, guarantees an advantage for Maryland, but it's going to be Nemris trying to clean up in the back line. Might be able to pick up a third here with the help of Ray. Clipaloon going to be able to find it. Chris, can you do me a favor and hold tab really quick? I'd like to take a look at the kill feed here. It looks like we see Epic Ray with 2, looking at Tony with 20. 0 deaths, and I think that is going to be difficult to play against that. Thank you so much, Chris. That's going to be a great job coming in from Tony. They've got to get Tony out of the damn way, or this is just not going to work well for Texas Tech.
Funny with 2. Again, Tony finding mobilized. Epic Z-Ray falling. It's so
That
easy.
may be funny, but Texas Tech is not laughing.
They're not laughing. They're not laughing. They're booking their flights home now already. It's like, oh my god.
Hey, whoa, they got lowers. They got lowers. Relax, relax, relax.
Sorry. I come from Siege. We actually, so we don't have lowers for Siege.
Yeah, seriously? Is that a real thing? I guess when the game's so long, you can't really, you don't really have the time for that.
Yeah, so my apologies. You're not going home yet.
I like Epic Z-Ray here on the Junker Queen. I'm a little bit nervous it's too little too late. The Doink, I think, has to drop this beat as a primary engagement. They're trying to play it on defense. I need to see it on the offense. Dude, drop the beat. Hello, where are we? It is going to be LRF going down, so Doink able to find it, but it's going to be too little too late. That grab does come through. It's going to be a 3K on the board, and Maryland, I think, just now one fight away from winning this in a 3-2 fashion. Not going to reverse sweep. We really fought tooth and nail, map to map to map to map to map, and it is going to be Maryland just now one fight away. Texas Tech, it is now or never, my friends. It is this or lower bracket.
It went lost in that whole fight there, but Jake Heeses had a really good ult in response to LRFs, and that's kind of the name of the game here. The ults have been so good for Maryland. Texas Tech, it feels like it's an embarrassment on that front, and you also only have a pulse bomb, which they've been missing.
Not even. We're 60%. We've really got to dig in deep to try and find out without being eliminated. That's going to be the hard part here. Teleporter goes into the background. What a knife! The carnage into Clint Balloon, but Ray does give his life for it. Is the tank trade worth that support? Well, we're going to find out the hard way. It's going to be the Kitsune rush in the back pocket here for CE3 to make up for that missing support. 1 second away. Great shots from LRF, but are they going to be enough? One man can only do so much. He's taken out by that car wash teleportation from Jake Keith's 25-player kill streak for Funny. And like I said, it's funny, but I don't think anybody's laughing at a time like this. 99 on the board. Nobody left alive to find in Maryland College Park. Our first series winners of the Nittany Invitational this weekend. 3-2 over Texas Tech.
Absolutely insane series. And you got to give your flowers to Texas Tech for the way that they played that out. But that map 5 was just a wash. The moment that you saw that ball band pop up on your screen, my heart twisted a little bit. I was like, oh gosh, now we have to run back into this problem that we had on map number 3. And it just wasn't able to be remedied in time. Unfortunately, Epic Z-Ray just not able to mirror match that Zarya, and things just end up like that. And it was close. It was a really close series. I think Texas Tech are a team to be feared in the lower bracket.
Also, I mean, Funny played good all series. Funny played great that last map. That was a damn near flawless Tracer performance there. But, I mean, that map type lends itself so well to Tracer. Flashpoint is built for those quickie, more punchy, flashier characters, if you will. I think there really is a lot of opportunity here. Texas Tech comes in on that 8th seed. They make the first seed sweat. And they're not even out of this yet. They're going to go into Miami. Miami got 3-0'd by Drexel, so both teams coming in, obviously, with a loss in the lower bracket. Going to be a little bit tougher for them, but I mean, we've got a great performance coming up regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of those teams is going to be going home, right? Yeah. So you're playing
that's
for
the scary
a lot
part.
there. You're playing for a lot. And that's the game we are going to get, I think,
yes,
right?
Correct.
So that's going to be pretty interesting, obviously, seeing Texas Tech. If they're able to carry this momentum forward, I feel like the tank is kind of where we've been seeing issues. And I'm not saying the player, I'm more so saying the play style, right? The tanks have always, like, it felt like throughout that entire time, no matter what you were bringing, Tony was on Zarya, and they didn't do anything to really stop it.
Yep. Without a doubt. I mean, the ball ban, we can talk it into the ground if we have to. Just such an unfortunate circumstance to find. Ball goes down. And I think Epic Z-Ray, the Junker Queen might have come out earlier. Honestly, we saw some nasty flicks on that. We saw a great knife into a Carnage, into a Lucio pick that did almost win the fight. But as I said a lot with Texas Tech today, almost just not enough. We close but no cigar is not going to win us a series like this. And I think Texas Tech, if they literally go pull up stream right now and they start VOD reviewing, I think that matters. They use this upcoming break before they go into their next matchup against Miami. They see what works. They see what doesn't. And I think we have a very likely chance of that not being the last time we see Texas Tech.
Yeah, thinking the same thing. I feel like you have a lot to learn from that game in particular. I feel like there was a lot of standout mistakes that you can definitely look back on and be like, wow, like I feel like for me, like the ults were everything in that fight. And I think that the entire time it was Maryland.
Yes.
Maryland had good ult timings on their support ults. They always had, 2 DPS ults in tow. They were combining their ults. And obviously that Zarya bubble was just, or grab well was just so much work. And it didn't really feel like there was any way for them to get through it.
Yeah, well, these players are going to go ahead and take a break here. Texas Tech, I believe, will be playing Miami on stage when we get back. So go ahead, folks, take this break, perhaps a little bit longer, get some snacks, walk your dog if you have one. If not, go buy a dog and walk it. I don't know. Regardless, you better get your butt right back here for the Nittany Invitational in just a bit. We'll see you then.
Falls, 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, Funny, not joking around here. That was
a beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third
play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jake Keezus, but is it going to be enough? the Kiri down and out. The 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony.
Really waking up in that fight as well. Able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stage.
Tony's taken down to a low HP. Got Kitsune Rush, but there's the pick, finally losing the tank. On the side of Maryland, we've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally,
early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save, though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that. You know, that's kind of. That whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on. Try and find a way through, but Tony is getting taken down low. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane there, finally.
But Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper-aggression off-rip map, a huge opening for Texas Tech, almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Sup, Div? Yep, good job there from still Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's demeching him and letting him know about that Deadeye. Yeah, it's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out. But they aren't able to force this push at all. Oh, it's a huge Deadeye. They're going to be completely staggered to fall. Still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. You're Texas Tech. What a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%.
You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot
into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Nemra's going to be caught Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
Got Tony completely
into this. I think, I always refer to this as like King's Row .1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as much out early. To 1-1 trade with a tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That B drop trying to end drop Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
And they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on the Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya.
But there's the trade immediately, C3E. Trying to keep his Lucio alive. Blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with. A potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it. I don't think it's one that goes down, but I predicted. Let's see if the second one is not far to follow. I do think the points capped mid-fight, just as I said it would be. It's a classic we see on King's Row.
Yeah, I think the Zarya bubble, while it didn't actually net a ton of kills, what it did was slow down Texas Tech. Like, they were ramming through Maryland. Zarya, though, they were stuck, and that allowed for Maryland to pick them up as soon as they were off the bubble. There's 3. Oh. Funny?
He's having a good time. We can call it. I wish we could see his player cam.
Oh.
Whoa! Deep into the back line, mobilized. No going up this early. It's going to be up to Jake Keezus to try and make it out. He's not going to try. He's going to try to take somebody out with him. C3E falls, and Texas Tech. This is
Fat Shatter. No more Suzu left.
Use it though.
3 players inside of this choke, but they're all falling. Jake Keezus with 2, and
unfortunately, but that is going to be a really good showing from the side of Maryland. I think my big note for Texas Tech is exactly what I'd predicted going into this. They got a little bit. Yeah, so doink. I love it. I think it's a really funny one.
I got to break it out.
It's a good one to say. We see now the good news. Epic Z-Ray already back in the back line.
Maryland still getting completely poked out of this corner. Texas Tech, very low HP pool as well. Epic Z-Ray forced to back up. Great flank from Jake Keezus as well. Able to play with that tank, and that is the point captured for Maryland.
I love the idea of a support an Ana player having the name mobilized because you're playing the least.
LRF's got the
Nano,
line
but it's hitting no one.
There's the pulse bomb from Funny. The response is just too much from Maryland, using their ult so well.
Just to try and stay alive, and you're still going to go down for those efforts. Teleport not in the pocket. Kitsune goes out, grab used as well, and Maryland definitely just feeling confident.
Keezus gets that pick that he needs, and now no tank left for Texas Tech. 2 dead, 3 are all falling.
Girl, run!
Know it. Fully beamed up as well. In comes the pile drive, but that ball is taken down instantly now. Texas Tech, not much left here. Quite a response.
Yeah, Maryland College Park really doing a great job. Now, the good news is Texas Tech got that way down. There was a world where Maryland was capping with like 4. Staying is welcome here, trying to get even a single pick. Should grapple through them, trying to barrel off the high ground. Tony is going to be taken out. No bubbles online here. It is going to be that grapple that comes through. LRF not going to win it. Zadoink already down and out.
There's a pulse bomb there. Oh, it's in the corner. Gets C3. 2 picks now on the DPS side, but there's the grab. Well, Tony just going to completely shut this down. Again, so many ults to work with. You've still got Jake Keezus with his ult as well. So They're just relying on that
wall.
DPS switch. And Epic Z-Ray, again, every single time they see him, they focus him down. And now that you've got a Mei, there's nowhere that he can...
Maryland, a lot of great ults to try and prevent that.
Nice. Trying to force off the high ground. Ball goes in with the Wu Yang. You burnt the bubbles, and now you go through. The tank is gone. Finally, Texas Tech finds it alive for long as he's getting stalled out. Jake Keys is stuck in a corner, but they don't find the pick until now. Mobilized with 2, and you're starting to finally see pretty low. Stalling. You've got 5 seconds left. You've got to make a plan. But Jake Keezus has found it.
There's Maryland in overtime here will be able to win map number 3, putting them on series point. Close, but no cigar for Texas Tech.
Ready to be enabled on last map. Here's the final drive. You've got C3. That's a huge target to find. C3's been so problematic in your back line. He gets the trade again, LRF, and a huge grab. But Mobilizes got that Suzu to stay alive. Not for long, though. Both supports targeted. Tony gets...
Time again. Full charge. Zarya pulse bomb is missed. No. I don't think we've seen a single pulse bomb land on either side. Genuinely. Like, but listen.
He's got a pulse bomb as well, so he's got a ton of utility to work with if he wants to push this on his own. As Maryland gets the cleanup, Texas Tech, not much they can really do about this. They can't slow this down. It seems like that lead will come back, but again, it's a really back and forth game, this one. It feels like shades of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, very keen on the clock. Almost a pick, but what a great bubble from Tony. Jake Keezus will still go down. Then wow! LRF, thank you so much for bringing this Cassidy back to the table. It is clearly worth its weight in gold. The double kill turned into a triple with the help. Oh, Clint Balloon down. What an opening. They're grabbing the counter, though. Double kill comes through, and Maryland just like that, right back on top. It's the Tony.
You got C3 as well with that ult to work with. Jake Keezus on that Kitsune rush trying to find his way through. He's got the support there. C3E, though, finds 2.
A near team kill. Funny is not joking around.
Yeah, just all you needed was that Kitsune rush. There was no resources for Texas Tech to work Matic.
This goes to show how close all of the teams here really are.
There's
a stick, man!
You've now lost that all. Pulse bomb, it hits! Jake Keezus walks right back into it, and Texas Tech have that advantage. The tank getting...
Mattering more.
There it is.
It couldn't matter. In the end here, we see the High Noon, we see the Suzu, but it's going to be a massacre in favor of Maryland. Now that's a great pile drive. It is going to be Ray. No, does go down. Disaster strikes for Texas Tech. The Doink has the beat drop, but who do you drop the beat for at a time like this? So I'm going to be seeing some power through. There's the beat. Kitsune on the answer, though. Could be potentially disastrous. We need
Zarya did for now. LRF just going to get walked down here. Tony with 2. It is an easy cleanup here for Maryland as they capture this low. He might fall next. Nemris hits that shot, so no more supports there. You've only got Clip Balloon alive. That is a point capture for Texas Tech.
Out from Tony, but one that seems to be working, so I'm not going to be particularly critical of it. They're going to be able to find 3 here, which should turn into a clean 5. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it out. Once mobilized a great pick here, but unfortunately the rest of the team just not in the pocket to capitalize off the back of it. Tony on a grab is going to be able to turn around, and bubble goes in the way early on, but the pulse bomb from Funny, almost a guaranteed stick. Oh, LRF tries to take one.
There they go again. Second push coming through. There's the grab. They found Tony. They popped the bubble, but the TP.
Great job coming in from Tony. They've got to get Tony out of the damn way, or this is just not going to work well for Texas Tech.
Funny with 2. Again, Tony.
Too late. The Doink, I think, has to drop this beat as a primary engagement. They're trying to play it on defense. I need to see it on the offense. Dude, drop the beat. Hello, where are we? It is going to be LRF going down, so Doink able to find it, but it's going to be a little too late. That grab does come. Maryland College Park, our first series winners of the Nittany Invitational this weekend. 3-2 over Texas Tech.
Absolutely. Falls, 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, Funny, not joking around here. That was
the beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third
play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jake Keezus, but is it going to be enough? The Kiri down and out, the 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony.
Really waking up in that fight as well, able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stick.
Tony's taken down to a low HP. Got Kitsune rush, but there's the pick. Finally losing the tank on the side of Maryland. We've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally,
early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that. You know, that's kind of That whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on. Try and find a way through, but Tony is getting taken down low. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane there, finally.
But Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper-aggression off-rip map, a huge opening for Texas Tech, almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Sup, Div? Yep, good job there from still Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's demeching him and letting him know about that Deadeye. Yeah, it's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out. But they aren't able to force this push at all. It's a huge Deadeye. They're going to be completely staggered to fall. Still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. Texas Tech, what a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%.
You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot
into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Numbers going to be caught on Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
You got Tony completely
into this. I think, I always refer to this as like King's Row .1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as out early. To 1-1 trade with the tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That B drop trying to answer off Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
No else. And they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on this Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya.
But there's the trade immediately. C3E. Trying to keep his Lucio alive. Blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with. A potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it. I don't think it's one that goes down, but I predicted. Let's see if the second one is not far to follow. I do think the points capped mid-fight, just as I said it would be. It's a classic we see on King's Row.
Yeah, I think the Zarya bubble, while it didn't actually net a ton of kills, what it did was slow down Texas Tech. Like, they were ramming through Maryland. Zarya, though, they were stuck, and that allowed for Maryland to pick them off as soon as they were off the bubble. There's 3. Oh. Funny?
He's having a good time. We can call it. I wish we could see his player cam.
Oh.
Whoa! Deep into the back line, mobilized. No, going up this early. It's going to be up to Jake Keezus to try and make it out. He's not going to try. He's going to try to take somebody out with him. C3E falls, and Texas Tech. This is
Fat Shatter. No more Suzu left.
Use it though.
3 players inside of this choke, but they're all falling. Jake Keezus with 2, and
unfortunately, but that is going to be a really good showing from the side of Maryland. I think my big note for Texas Tech is exactly what I'd predicted going into this. They got a little bit. Yeah, so doink. I love it. I think it's a really funny one.
I got to break it out.
It's a good one to say. We see now the good news. Epic Z-Ray already back in the back line.
It's still getting completely poked out of this corner. Texas Tech, very low HP pool as well. Epic Z-Ray forced to back up. Great flank from Jake Keezus as well. Able to play with that tank, and that is the point captured for Maryland.
I love the idea of a support and on a player having the name mobilized because you're playing the lead.
Got the line
but it's hitting no one.
There's the pulse bomb from Funny. The response is just too much from Maryland, using their ult so well.
Just to try and stay alive, and you're still going to go down for those efforts. Teleport not in the pocket. Kitsune goes out, grab used as well, and Maryland definitely just feeling confident.
He just gets that pick that he needs, and now no tank left for Texas Tech. 2 dead, 3, they're all falling.
Girl, run!
Know it, fully beamed up as well. In comes the pile drive, but that ball is taken down instantly now. Texas Tech, not much left here. Quite a response.
Yeah, Maryland College Park really doing a great job. Now, the good news is Texas Tech got that way down. There was a world where Maryland was capping with like 4. Staying is welcome here, trying to get even a single pick. Should grapple through them, try to barrel off the high ground. Tony is going to be taken out. No bubbles online here. It is going to be that grapple that comes through. LRF not going to win it. Zadoink already down and out.
There's a pulse bomb there. Oh, it's in the corner. Gets C3E. 2 picks now on the DPS side, but there's the grab. Well, Tony just going to completely shut this down. Again, so many ults to work with. You've still got Jake Keezus with his ult as well. So they're just relying on that DPS switch. And Epic Z-Ray, again, every single time they see him, they focus him down. And now that you've got a May, there's nowhere that he can.
Maryland, a lot of great ults to try and prevent that.
Nice. Trying to force off the high ground. Ball goes in with the Wu Yang. You burnt the bubbles, and now you go through. The tank is gone. Finally, Texas Tech finds it alive for long as he's getting stalled out. Jake Keys is stuck in a corner, but they don't find the pick until now. Mobilized with 2, and you're starting to finally see pretty low. Stalling. You've got 5 seconds left. You've got to make a plan. But Jake Keezus has found it.
There's Maryland in overtime here will be able to win map number 3, putting them on series point. Close, but no cigar for Texas Tech.
Ready to be enabled on last map. Here's the final drive. You've got C3. That's a huge target to find. C3's been so problematic in your back line. Gets the trade again, LRF, and a huge grab. Mobilize has got that Suzu to stay alive. Not for long, though. Both supports targeted.
Wow.
Tony gets
time again. Full charge. Zarya pulse bomb is missed.
No.
I don't think we've seen a single pulse bomb land on either side. Genuinely. Like, but listen.
He's got a pulse bomb as well, so he's got a ton of utility to work with if he wants to push this on his own. As Maryland gets the cleanup, Texas Tech, not much they can really do about this. They can't slow this down. It seems like that lead will come back, but again, it's a really back and forth game, this one. It feels like shades of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, very keen on the clock. Almost a pick, but what a great bubble from Tony. Jake Keezus will still go down. Then wow! LRF, thank you so much for bringing this Cassidy back to the table. It is clearly worth its weight in gold. The double kill turned into a triple with the help. Oh, Clint Balloon down. What an opening. The grab and the counter, though. Double kill comes through, and Maryland just like that, right back on top. It's the Tony.
You got C3 as well with that ult to work with. Jake Keezus on that Kitsune rush trying to find his way through. He's got the support there. C3E, though, finds 2.
A near team kill. Funny is not joking around.
Yeah, just all you needed was that Kitsune rush. There was no resources for Texas Tech to work Matic.
This goes to show how close all of the teams here really are.
There's
a stick, man.
You've now lost that all. Pulse bomb, it hits! Jake Keezus walks right back into it, and Texas Tech have that advantage. The tank getting...
Mattering more.
There it is.
It couldn't matter. In the end here, we see the High Noon, we see the Suzu, but it's going to be a massacre in favor of Maryland. Now that's a great pile drive. It is going to be Ray. No, does go down. Disaster strikes for Texas Tech. Zadoink has the beat drop, but who do you drop the beat for at a time like this? So I'm going to be seeing some power through. There's the beat. Kitsune on the answer, though, could be potentially disastrous. We need
Zarya did for now. LRF just going to get walked down here. Tony with 2. It is an easy cleanup here for Maryland as they capture this low. He might fall next. Nemris hits that shot, so no more supports there. You've only got Clip Balloon alive. That is a point capture for Texas Tech.
Out from Tony, but one that seems to be working, so I'm not going to be particularly critical of it. They're going to be able to find 3 here, which should turn into a clean 5. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it out. Mobilized a great pick here, but unfortunately the rest of the team just not in the pocket to capitalize off the back of it. Tony on a grab is going to be able to turn around, and Bubble goes in the way early on, but the pulse bomb from Funny, almost a guaranteed stick. Oh, LRF tries to take one.
They go again, second push coming through. There's the grab. They found Tony. They popped the bubble, but the TP.
Great job coming in from Tony. They've got to get Tony out of the damn way, or this is just not going to work well for Texas Tech.
Funny with 2. Again, Tony.
Late. The Doink, I think, has to drop this beat as a primary engagement. They're trying to play it on defense. I need to see it on the offense. Dude, drop the beat. Hello, where are we? It is going to be LRF going down. So Doink able to find it, but it's going to be too little too late. That grab does come. Maryland College Park, our first series winners of the Nittany Invitational this weekend. 3-2 over Texas Tech.
Balls, 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, Funny, not joking around here. That was
the beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third
play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jake Keezus, but is it going to be enough? The Kiri down and out. The 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony.
Really waking up in that fight as well. Able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stage.
Tony's taken down to a low HP. Got Kitsune rush, but there's the pick. Finally losing the tank on the side of Maryland. We've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally,
early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save, though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that. You know, that's kind of. That whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on. Try and find a way through, but Tony is getting taken down low. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane there, finally.
But Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper-aggression off-rip map, a huge opening for Texas Tech, almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Sup, Div? Yep, good job there from Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's de-meching him and letting him know about that Deadeye. Yeah, it's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out, but they aren't able to force this push at all. Oh, it's a huge Deadeye. They're going to be completely staggered to fall, still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. Your Texas Tech, what a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%.
You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot
into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Nemra's going to be caught on Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
Got Tony completely
into this. I think, I always refer to this as like Kings Row .1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as much out early. To 1-1 trade with a tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That B drop trying to answer out Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
No, and they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on this Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya.
But there's the trade immediately. C3E trying to keep his Lucio alive. Blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with. A potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it, but I don't think it's one that goes down that I predicted. Let's see if the second one is not far to follow. I do think the points capped mid-fight, just as I said it would be. It's a classic we see on Kings Row.
Yeah, I think the Zarya bubble, while it didn't actually net a ton of kills, what it did was slow down Texas Tech. Like, they were ramming through Maryland. Zarya, though, they were stuck, and that allowed for Maryland to pick them up as soon as they were off the bubble. There's 3. Oh. Funny?
He's having a good time. We can call it. I wish we could see his player cam.
Oh.
Whoa! Deep into the back line, mobilized. No going up this early. It's going to be up to Jake Keezus to try and make it out. He's not going to try. He's going to try to take somebody out with him. C3E falls, and Texas Tech, this is
Fat Shatter, no more Suzu left.
Use it, though.
3 players inside of this choke, but they're all falling. Jake Keezus with 2. And
unfortunately, but that is going to be a really good showing from the side of Maryland. I think my big note for Texas Tech is exactly what I'd predicted going into this. They got a little bit. Yeah, it's a doink. I love it. I think it's a really funny one.
I got to break it out.
It's a good one to say. We've seen now the good news. Epic Z-Ray already back in the back line.
Maryland still getting completely poked out of this corner. Texas Tech, very low HP pool as well. Epic Z-Ray forced to back up. Great flank from Jake Keezus as well. Able to play with that tank, and that is the point captured for Maryland.
I love the idea of a support and on a player having the name mobilized because you're playing the
LRF's got the line of
but it's
sight.
hitting no one.
There's the pulse bomb from Funny. The response is just too much from Maryland, using their ult so well.
Just to try and stay alive, and you're still going to go down for those efforts. Teleport not in the pocket. Kitsune goes out. Grav used as well, and Maryland definitely just feeling confident.
He just gets that pick that he needs, and now no tank left for Texas Tech. 2 dead, 3 are all falling.
Girl, run!
Know it. Fully beamed up as well. In comes the pile drive, but that ball is taken down instantly now. Texas Tech, not much left here. Quite a response.
Yeah, Maryland College Park really doing a great job. Now, the good news is Texas Tech got that way down. There was a world where Maryland was capping with like 4. Staying is welcome here, trying to get even a single pick. Should grapple through them, try to barrel off the high ground. Tony is going to be taken out. No bubbles online here. It is going to be that grapple that comes through. LRF not going to win it. Zadoink already down and out.
There's a pulse bomb there. Oh, it's in the corner. Gets C3. 2 picks now on the DPS side. But there's the crowd. Well, Tony just going to completely shut this down. Again, so many ults to work with. You've still got Jake Keezus with his ult as well. So they're just relying on that DPS switch. And Epic Z-Ray, again, every single time they see him, they focus him down. And now that you've got a May, there's nowhere that he can...
Maryland, a lot of great ults to try and prevent that. Nice.
Trying to force off the high ground. Ball goes in with the Wu Yang. You burnt the bubbles, and now you go through. The tank is gone. Finally, Texas Tech finds it alive for long as he's getting stalled out. Jake Keys is stuck in a corner, but they don't find the pick until now. Mobilized with 2, and you're starting to finally see pretty low. Stalling. You've got 5 seconds left. You've got to make a plan. But Jake Keys has found it. There's
Maryland in overtime here will be able to win map number 3, putting them on series point. Close, but no cigar for Texas Tech.
Ready to be enabled on last map. Here's the pile drive. You've got C3. That's a huge target to find. C3's been so problematic in your back line. He gets the trade again, LRF, and a huge grab. But Mobilizer's got that Suzu to stay alive. Not for long, though. Both supports targeted. Tony gets
time again. Full charge Zarya. Pulse bomb is missed. No. I don't think we've seen a single pulse bomb land on either side. Genuinely. Like, but listen.
He's got a pulse bomb as well, so he's got a ton of utility to work with if he wants to push this on his own. As Maryland gets the cleanup, Texas Tech, not much they can really do about this. They can't slow this down. It seems like that lead will come back, but again, it's a really back-and-forth game, this one. It feels like shades of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, very keen on the clock. Almost a pick, but what a great bubble from Tony. Jake Heezus will still go down. Then, wow! LRF, thank you so much for bringing this Cassidy back to the table. It is clearly worth its weight in gold. The double kill turned into a triple with the help. Oh, Clint Balloon down. What an opening. They're grabbing the counter, though. Double kill comes through, and Maryland just like that, right back on top. It's the Tony.
You got C3 as well with that ult to work with. Jake Heezus on that Kitsune rush trying to find his way through. He's got the support there. C3E, though, finds 2.
Near team kill. Funny is not joking around.
Yeah, just all you needed was that Kitsune rush. There was no resources for Texas Tech to work Matic.
This goes to show how close all of the teams here really are.
There's
a stick, baby!
You've now lost that ult. Pulse bomb, it hits! Jake Heezus walks right back into it, and Texas Tech have that advantage. The tank getting...
Mattering more.
There it is.
Couldn't matter in the end here. We see the high noon, we see the Suzu, but it's going to be a massacre in favor of Maryland. Now that's a great pile drive. It is going to be Ray. No, does go down. Disaster strikes for Texas Tech. Zadoink has the beat drop, but who do you drop the beat for at a time like this? So I'm going to be seeing some power through. There's the beat. Kitsune on the answer, though. Could be potentially disastrous. We need...
Zarya did for now. LRF just going to get walked down here. Tony with 2. It is an easy cleanup here for Maryland as they capture this low. He might fall next. Nemris hits that shot, so no more supports there. You've only got Clip Balloon alive. That is a point capture for Texas Tech.
Route from Tony, but one that seems to be working, so I'm not going to be particularly critical of it. They're going to be able to find 3 here, which should turn into a clean 5. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it out. Mobilized a great pick here, but unfortunately the rest of the team just not in the pocket to capitalize off the back of it. Tony on a grab is going to be able to turn around, and Bubble goes in the way early on, but the pulse bomb from Funny, almost a guaranteed stick. Oh, LRF tries to take one.
They go again. Second push coming through. There's the grab. They found Tony. They popped the bubble, but the TP. The Zarya gets
jump coming in from Tony. They've got to get Tony out of the damn way, or this is just not going to work well for Texas Tech.
Funny with 2. Again, Tony.
Late. The Doink, I think, has to drop this beat as a primary engagement. They're trying to play it on defense. I need to see it on the offense. Dude, drop the beat. Hello, where are we? It is going to be LRF going down. So Doink able to find it, but it's going to be too little too late. That grab does come. Maryland College Park, our first series winners of the Nittany Invitational this weekend. 3-2 over Texas Tech.
Balls, 3 are already dead, and Texas Tech, they're going to need a better start than this because Maryland have just walked through them on this point.
I mean, Funny, not joking around here. That was
the beat, and it's just going to be another walkthrough because Immobilize is the only healer left. Clamps just gets it. JK with 2. Might find the third
play here from Texas Tech to just get any kind of stabilization, but 1, now 2, turns into 3 down. Nemris able to find Jake Heezus, but is it going to be enough? The Kiri down and out. The 10-player kill streak in stage 1 of Lijiang Tower going to be ending 1-0 in favor of Maryland College.
My gosh, Tony.
Really waking up in that fight as well. Able to get half of that ultimate in the pocket. You look at Texas Tech, a couple of them barely at half. Maryland able to find an early stick.
Tony's taken down to a low HP. Got Kitsune rush, but there's the pick. Finally losing the tank on the side of Maryland. We've got 3 picks. Nemris finds 2, and Texas Tech storm onto the point. The flank works out so well for Texas Tech. Finally,
early if they find that counter pick.
Ooh, you really needed that pulse bomb there. Suzu with a good save, though. That's just rough. Really good Suzu. That was, you were betting on that. You know, that's kind of that whole fight was on that pulse bomb to at least try and get the trade that they had lost early on. Try and find a way through, but Tony is getting taken down low. He's going to need to use the health pack, but it's a boop from Epix. Insane there, finally.
But Maryland getting a bit of a run for their money there, especially on the back of LRF. A couple of fights there. That early engagement, that hyper-aggression off-rip map, a huge opening for Texas Tech. Almost guarantees that initial point cap in their favor.
Sup, Div. Yep, good job there from still Texas Tech pushing through this. They're doing it together, and that's what matters. LRF has Tony now stuck, and he's de-meching him and letting him know about that Deadeye. Yeah, it's a really cool skin. There's the Deadeye, but it's been caught out. But they aren't able to force this push at all. It's a huge Deadeye. They're going to be completely staggered to fall. Still in this fight, but you're slowly losing your squishies. You're Texas Tech. What a win. Map number 2 is going to be very interesting now. We've got something else on our hands.
100%.
You've got Tony on the Zarya. He's going to have to walk his way through, but they will fight him on this choke. But again, Texas Tech are going to continue to take advantage of that high ground. You're going to rely a lot
into this engagement. I'm eager to see if they're going to be using any, if they want to go into this with the aggression we're looking for, or if instead they want to play a bit slower. Number's going to be caught Texas Tech. The fight down, but not out. Z-Ray has gone down, and Maryland finally able to stabilize against Texas Tech.
got Tony completely
into this. I think, I always refer to this as like Kings Row point 1.5, right? It's really difficult to get value into, especially when a team is playing as out early. To 1-1 trade with a tank going down for Texas Tech is going to be really detrimental. That B drop trying to answer out Kitsune. This is going to be a tough one for Texas to win.
No, and they completely split up Texas Tech. It feels like that same problem that we saw. And Maryland, we lost them for a little bit, but we're finally back. And Tony's been ripping on this Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you ban Zarya.
But there's the trade immediately. C3E trying to keep his Lucio alive. Blood left for Texas Tech. You've still got an HP pool to work with. A potential recontest maybe, but you're losing time.
They're going to go for it, but I don't think it's one that goes down that I predicted. Let's see if the second one is not far to follow. I do think the points capped mid-fight, just as I said it would be. It's a classic we see on Kings Row.
Yeah, I think the Zarya bubble, while it didn't actually net a ton of kills, what it did was slow down Texas Tech. Like, they were ramming through Maryland. Zarya, though, they were stuck, and that allowed for Maryland to pick them up as soon as they were off the bubble. There's three. Oh. Funny?
He's having a good time. We can call it. I wish we could see his player cam.
Oh.
Whoa! Deep into the back line, mobilized. No, going up this early. It's going to be up to Jake Keezus to try and make it out. He's not going to try. He's going to try to take somebody out with him. C3E falls, and Texas Tech. This is
Fat Shatter. No more Suzu left.
Use it though.
3 players inside of this choke, but they're all falling. Jake Keezus with 2. And
unfortunately, but that is going to be a really good showing from the side of Maryland. I think my big note for Texas Tech is exactly what I'd predicted going into this. They got a little bit. Yeah, so doink. I love it. I think it's a really funny one.
I got to break it out.
It's a good one to say. We see now the good news. Epic Z-Ray already back in the back line.
Maryland still getting completely poked out of this corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nittany Invitational 2025. I'm still Septilence, joined now by Kevin, another one of the student commentators we're going to be seeing joining us for Texas Tech versus Miami. So, Kevin, first and foremost, how you doing? How's your day been?
Thank you so much, Sep. It's been great. The last game was absolutely phenomenal. It's crazy. It's just the first seed versus the 8th seed. This should show that every team is in it to win it.
Yes.
And it's so exciting. I cannot wait.
Without a doubt. I mean, going into that, it was hyper-intensive, and we saw Texas Tech just barely there in that 5th and final map, going to be losing that. So going in now, we're seeing Miami at that 4th seed. But, Kevin, how much does that matter in terms of, Miami was the 4th seed, but they got 3-0'd. Texas Tech is the 8th seed, but they went all the way to map 5.
I mean, I don't even know at this point. Nothing. Everything is up in the air, and, it's so crazy, and I really don't think the seeding matters at all. And, Texas Tech, they won the few maps, and I'm really thinking that they should ride the wave, and I think it really is Miami who should be worried. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, I talked about that as well. If Texas Tech used that break, if they VOD reviewed, if they came in, if they noticed kind of what those Achilles heels may have been, they can come in twice as strong to this matchup. I think Miami having a 3-0 against them, it's not as easy to VOD review a 3-0. It's not as easy to go back and watch that and try to learn from it. So hopefully Miami's able to find some similar matchups maybe in the past or some glaring play style issues that may have ended up costing them. But we'll see what happens here going into this. I know that both these teams are coming in with some legacy. Texas, the furthest team to ever attend one of these, the Nittany Invitational here. And Miami, a team that has previously won the Nittany Invitational. So these teams coming in both desperately trying to make this happen. But going in to map number 1, which I'm going to crapshoot, it's probably Lijiang Tower again. I'm going to guess it's probably Lijiang. What compositions do you expect to see?
I mean, honestly, from Texas Tech, I don't really think that they should stray away from what they played initially. For Miami, maybe, looking back from that last game, the 3-0, during the mod review, maybe it's just we should forget and just move on. We should just go play our game. And honestly, composition-wise, we should be seeing some kind of similar meta picks. The Tracer, maybe Zarya getting a little popular. The bans probably very similar. But honestly, at this point, so much uncertainty in these teams. You might just look, hey, it's an FPS game. We're just going to play. Yeah, right. You got to play every game like it's the first and like it could be the last in the series. And it's important to note as well that here in the lower bracket, these teams are now this could be their last. Whichever team loses this is officially out of the tournament. They're not going to be able to continue forward. And whoever wins this, they'll stay in the lower bracket, but they get to live another day. I see we're loading into Lijiang Tower, so that is going to be our starter map here. Going in, are there any team comps specifically or any heroes you expect to see on Night Market? Kiriko, right? Absolutely. Kiriko is king right now. Maybe we'll see the more of the Wu Yang Tracer. I would love to see more Tracer.
Yes.
and that's very popular here, especially in the rooms off to the sides. Can really dominate, and for the health pack, it's very convenient for them as well.
Yeah, you've got to wonder. I think you've mentioned this question as well. You've referenced this. Is the Wrecking Ball coming back? Are we going to see the Wrecking Ball early because it's working for Texas Tech? It was a little bit shaky, especially when Ball got banned. That was kind of the hard part. But it looks like our bans are going to be Hazard and Freya this time. So no Hazard on the board. That almost makes me more confident we could be seeing a Wrecking Ball. Will we be seeing a Zarya as well? Pooter Scooter from Miami, notorious for that tank gameplay. And we're seeing it. The door hasn't opened yet, but we are seeing that mirror matchup, except for, nope, oh, there we go. Yep. The countdown there. Here we go. The teleportation now neither stick to Symmetra, so the mirror does break, actually. We're going to have Reaper versus Venture.
This is really interesting. And a cast mirror on both sides, Zarya, and the same support comps. Lucio and Kiriko coming to here, casters making shots over here, and the Reaper can dive into the back line and really forced off into the side room here.
Oh, great opening from Texas Tech, able to find 3 eliminations. Going to be a 4 with the help of Nemris there. That Venture coming out in troves. If you ask me which one I think is going to lend itself better to the team, I do give Venture that advantage. But what can Reaper do here against this team comp on Texas Tech?
I mean, I think really, Miami, the Reaper is kind of expecting the ball, kind of like dive heavy composition, and they really got caught off guard. And maybe it can do a number, maybe limiting the Venture from diving to the back line. However, I don't really know if that's enough to justify the Reaper pick.
What a bubble. I mean, Nemris able to go through there, takes that Cassidy down. Lucio is going to fall quick after, and there's not really a fight to be had. I think we're seeing a good advantage of Texas Tech. They're warmed up. They just played. Miami finished their series like over an hour ago.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's a DPS player that's a shining star right now. 3Ks for both of them. That might have been 4K, actually. It's ridiculous. Deadeye already online. And 81% to the Kitsune rush. We're going to start to see these ults getting spammed in no time.
Yeah, the ultimates are going to be coming out here. The fight finally getting the chance to begin. It seems like Miami's getting a little bit of space. They get to engage a little more aggressively. But a Deadeye in the backline here, enough to just scare the team off. And that's all we're really trying to do. Probably going to Wraith form to get out of that. On is going to be able to stay on this Mortal Coil. Going into the fight, Kitsune rush out from Nitro. It's going to be countered out by Mobilize. It's going to be a 5v5 engagement here in the backline. Venture has the ult in just a second. She is likely going to go ahead and pop it here, but Nemris is not going to be able to find it. Pooter Scooter with the double kill gives Miami the first advantage on this map so far. Texas Tech just under 70.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, committing the castle, getting a lot of space, and although now they're coming back, they regroup, they do have the Venture all this time, but I just wanted to point out, although they lost this fight, during the fight, and even before that, the Venture was really annoying in the back line. And if it wasn't for that Kitsune rush, I honestly don't know if they would have won this fight, and the Reaper kind of harassing the...
Oh, sorry. Yep, there he is. Death Blossom comes through, able to find a double kill there. Both supports down on the side of Texas Tech. Miami University going to be able to find those numbers and keep them. More importantly, LRF gets one, but it's just a consolation prize more than anything else. Miami University able to out up to 40%. If they win this next fight here, Kevin, they should take the lead.
Yeah, absolutely, but the thing I really want to focus on is this Lucio.
Yes.
This Lucio beat could be really big with the Venture. There's no shields, and it's just kind of like a Zarya bubble, so value could be halved, and here it is.
The grab in the back line here from Pooter Scooter. LRF going to be able to find that first elimination. Nemris with one of their own. This Venture ult is making waves here when Texas Tech needed it most. Miami University 60% and counting, but I think the numbers are simply too far against them. Zarya, last one standing, sent to the Shadow Realm, and Texas Tech keeps the lead and extends it.
Such an unexpected time to engage and fight, and I mean, that was great movement from Nemris as well. The Venture is so mobile, and honestly in ways that you don't really expect it.
Nobody moves like Venture.
Absolutely, and it's really fun to see as well. Maybe less to play against.
Yeah, oh my, definitely.
University.
Oh, in the back line here. Even if you're not getting the kills either, you're keeping the space, and it makes it so hard for Miami to get into this engagement. Sire already down. It's going to be a 5v4. Now it's a 4v4 as LRF goes down with that High Noon in the back pocket. A lot of damage to be dealt, but nobody's gone down quite yet. The grab from Clamps going to be able to keep the team alive. Suzu is out. Wraith form is gone. Nitrous and Alfonso have both fallen. There's no supports for Miami. There's no time left on the clock. Reaper goes down. Zarya. No, he's still up. Finally gets a pick onto Epic. This could be disastrous. They get the Zarya down. Reaper last one standing. We hear the High Noon. We see the Wraith form. The support comes back. Sire finds one of their own. The counter High Noon onto Sire. Oh, and there it is. They both go down. Texas Tech should all but be able to win this stage. It's a delay of the inevitable here. Miami University staggering great, but unfortunately, Texas Tech going to be able to walk away with the first stage win of Lijiang Tower.
Wow, such an intense fight there at the end. And honestly, you know, Miami was on the back foot that entire time. I can't lie. And as intense as it looked, it was always going to be Texas Tech. And I mean, such an impressive performance coming in from them. And really the DPS, I would say, is coming through. I would say the support being able to be outputted by the Kiri, so resilient, so difficult to kill. I mean, it's such a bad time, especially when you're a Reaper. You can't get up close and personal, and you're outputting so little damage. You're just getting healed up right away, and honestly, you're kind of just feeding the ults a little bit.
And I mean, how many times did we watch Nemeris and Clamps both fall to like 50 HP or less, and up here comes Suzu, and then they never died. They never went down. Mobilized, doing such a good job keeping that team alive, and it looks like we're going to be heading now into the second point of Lijiang Tower. Control Center, my personal favorite. Yeah, and Sire trying to switch things up here on the Torbjorn. Let's see if that's worth its weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking into here, already up to 50%.
Wow.
So much pressure coming in, and honestly, the turrets are doing a great job controlling this area.
I think that's exactly what the turret's there for, because Texas Tech played a lot of flank with that venture. It is going to be that Torbjorn coming in, that turret keeping it alive. On is going to be going down. Nemeris able to find that first blood, and Texas Tech 5v4. They're going to get more aggressive. Nitrous Oxide I don't think is long for this world, but it's Clamps that goes down first. Nitrous is going to be traded out, but losing that Zarya could be detrimental to the remaining members of Texas Tech. LRF trying to clean up, trying to become that new tank, and able to do so. A 3K now on the board. Let's see if they make it 4, and they will. LRF, he will make it that 4K. Texas Tech take the point, but a 12% deficit they have to climb back from.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be mad at that at all. That was an incredible fight, and honestly, it's the same story from last map. I mean, LRF is not slowing down at all, riding the wave, riding the momentum, and I mean, Miami is in such big trouble here. They need to find some sort of momentum, whether it be a team fight or individual play. They need to get fired up, but this is doing the opposite. Mobilize, great shots, and I mean, the team's just fighting together so much. The vibes are great. The vibes are insane.
And this is the hard part, too, when you get pushed back into your own spawn like this. Wow! It is just almost impossible to walk back out without making some kind of swamp or without having some kind of shield. It can be really hard to engage in this fight here. We see 40% on the board. Miami University, no real swaps after On goes to that Genji, but maybe we deflect a High Noon or a grab. It's really going to have to matter. Kitsune comes out. Mobilized isn't going to counter it. LRF goes down in the blink of an eye. The counter Kitsune does come out a little bit late. I think it's going to be too late. Miami University, they have those numbers, and they should be able to win this fight.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Sire doing a great job as well, just getting that first pick and kind of sustaining the rest of the fight. And however, Texas Tech not too mad with what they've been able to do. I mean, look at the space. This is drastically different from how Texas Tech was holding when they had the point.
Whoa! Hyper aggression comes out. The grab into beat, forcing Epic to use that ultimate early, but I think it is going to be beneficial because now Nemeris can go right in with an ultimate of their own. High Noon, Epic does go down. Alfonso's beat keeps the 5 up and standing, and at a critical, pivotal moment, 2 players are going to fall on the side of Texas Tech. This should allow Miami University to take the lead here on second point Lijiang Control Center.
And I really think Sire had a hand in every single elimination right there. These cast players are insane. These nades are getting so much value. These headshots are hitting. It's all I hear right now. It's just a ding, 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 the headshot. It's crazy. And the Lucio here, I mean, great movements coming in, but I haven't really seen the impact I really should. Although it was kind of
outside of the beat, I agree that we haven't been seeing that viability that we want to be seeing from the Lucio, but here it's going to be, we don't need a Lucio, we'll do it ourselves. There's no point in healing if there's no one to do damage, right?
Absolutely.
So Miami University, they come in, they get a little bit too aggressive, but they got 34% on that hold. That's pretty darn good, all things considered. They have to flip that point one more time, and they should be able to win this, but unfortunately, they're going in with 0 ultimates. Kevin, how do you approach this fight with no ults?
I mean, I just think you have to use it.
Maybe you don't.
Oh my God.
Maybe you don't, actually. You know what? I set you up for the question, and then they kind of proved us wrong immediately.
It was over before it started. I was going to say that maybe you want the Lucio amplifier to get the cast in the fights and maybe try to get a aggressive pick and come out, but I mean, how do you even you know, approach a microwave in a room like that.
Real. I mean, you just got thrown right into the hole there. It looks like we're going to be seeing a high noon with 2! Oh, Nitrous and Sire both down. Lucio not long for the world either. And I think Texas Tech may have guaranteed a victory here on Lijiang Tower. A 2-0 at that. Recall used. Venture goes in. They need to find the Tracer. They get her up. They knock her down. And Miami University may not be able to touch at all. Texas Tech is going to be able to find it. A 2-0 victory here on Lijiang Tower. And you can tell they're smiling, but they are locked in. They said, that's a win, but we are not done yet.
Look at that. The vibes must be incredible on that team right now. They're finding so much success, and it's almost, they're like, they have the Midas touch. Everything they touch is gold. I mean, look at these, there's so much coherence. Everyone's fighting together. All the utilities, amazing. And honestly, not much to, you know, talk about and change into the next map, except that we should just be doing exactly what we've been doing.
Just keep making it work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I believe our next map type, let me make sure here, is going to be Hybrid. I want to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, Hybrid coming up next. So our options are Paraíso, Kings Row, Midtown, and Eichenwald. So, Kevin, going into that, you're playing Wrecking Ball. Which map do you hope they pick?
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind Kings Row. I wouldn't mind Paraíso. Although Paraíso, that second point, I think would be really annoying with that long range. Honestly, just me personally, like from a viewer's perspective, I kind of want to see the Eichenwald.
Real. Eichenwald, one of my favorite maps. Reinhardt, one of my favorite characters. So, of course, I love the map that comes alongside him. But going into this, I think Eichenwald also lends itself really nicely to Wrecking Ball. I think there's a lot of great rollouts and mobility options, especially on that second point bridge. I mean, come on, the environmentals are just waiting to happen at that point. So we'll see, first and foremost, what map Miami ends up picking, and then the bans that'll come through secondly. I do think that's going to be very important because if you're Miami University, surely you're banning Venture, right? Like, that has to be the choice.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, like, the cast was doing so much work on either side. I wouldn't even mind watching a ban on that. Both teams utilizing Zarya fairly well. They're pretty happy with that. So I honestly think the tank ban is going to go somewhere else. Maybe even a ball ban if they are scared of that.
It's not impossible. But, I mean, if you're on the side of Texas Tech, you assume they're going to ban Venture. Is the play just ban Zarya? Just don't let them play Zarya because clearly you can play something else. They have to ban Ball or Venture, which means you get to play the other one, right? So it's like as long as you get one of your bonus picks, Miami notorious for Booter Scooter on that Zarya. This is a team that we see often in that Zarya Reaper composition, so maybe you just cut the team off at the knees.
Yeah, and absolutely. Zarya is so crucial to that brawly play style, and honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. This Zarya pick is so vital to their composition, to their identity, that maybe even if you're good at it, maybe the best play is to cut them off.
And that's the hard part, right? You have to decide, first and foremost, am I better than the other person playing that same character? And if I'm not, well, guess what? Neither of us get to play it. So that's definitely a concept they need to keep in mind there. The high noon flick, just absolute clip farmer on stage right now, keeping it alive. And I mean, going into this, I cannot wait to see. It looks like we're headed into... Is that correct? We headed into Suravasa. Is that right?
Oh, my God. Flashball?
No, I think that's an old note. That's an old note. Okay. I was like, surely not, right? No, okay. Going into this, we're going to be seeing what map comes up next. I do believe it is Hybrid. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. So if it is Kings Row, I don't know what tanks we're going to be seeing. It's going to be very interesting. So, Suravasa confirmed. I'm getting confirmation. The mode can be picked. Oh, okay, so they just happened to go in the exact order last time. So they're picking to take us to Flashpoint next, which I have to say, Kevin, what do you think the thought process is to lose Control 2-0 and then go to a map type that's very similar to Control?
Although I think they are playing to their advantage. Flashpoint can be very brawly. And they can definitely get a lot of like team fights going on, a lot of like side engagements. I would say, like, honestly, there's nothing that Miami has shown that puts our confidence in that, you know, they should do this and they should be able to go towards this area. I would say I mean, it's so tough for them losing 4 maps in a row, and they just need to...
I didn't even think about that. You're so right. Yeah, that didn't even hit me. It's got to be tough to go into that circumstance of knowing, you know, it's like keeping it close, but unfortunately just close. It's a similar issue, actually, that Texas Tech had in that last series is close doesn't cut it. You've got to make it over that hurdle. You've got to continue moving forward. You've got to continue finding that advantage state, and unfortunately, Miami just not able to put those pieces together yet. The good news is there's at least 2 more maps to try and figure it out.
Yeah, and mentality is so important, especially when you're knocked down early round. We've seen so many unbelievable runs in esports because of mentality, and the teams are down, but they're not out, and that's really the lesson that we should kind of look into here. We shouldn't count Miami out at all. However, you know, on another side note, I'm a very big advocate to see some carnage happening here, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And going into this, so we got the ban confirmation here. We're going to be seeing Miami University ban Zarya. A surprising choice, I think, but I do think it makes sense. Kind of the second choice in a way, or maybe the third choice. And we're seeing, if I'm understanding this correctly, Texas Tech is banning Torbjorn, which is like, sure. You know what? Sure. Why not? We've got some legendary clip farmers on the Texas Tech team, clearly. And maybe they're proving a point. They're going, hey, play whoever you want, and we're still going to feel pretty darn good about this win. We've also got, for those of us who are in-house happening off-stream, we have Rainbow Six happening right now. For those wondering where Jazzman went, that's where he went. He's playing Rainbow Six right now. So we brought in Kevin a little bit ahead of schedule so Jazzman could get in there and help out the team to the best of their abilities. But we're excited to be having Rainbow Six going. We've got Marvel Rivals going. I don't know if that's right now or if that's later, but this weekend, Marvel Rivals is happening. We've got Pokemon Virtual Game is well happening this weekend, so we're really excited to be having all of that. But Overwatch, Saravasa coming up in just a second. This is a map that I admittedly haven't played too much, so I'm really excited to see what it's going to end up looking like and what compositions these players are ready to bring to the table, especially now that Zarya is missing. Yeah,
and I've maybe played this map a little too much. I've gotten so many frustrated, you know, very close losses. I think this Flashpoint is a mode where very close games can happen, and doesn't matter how far apart the team is in terms of skill.
In terms of skill, I think this is going to be really fascinating because I do think Ball can lend himself well to a couple of points here, but then he's not good on a couple others. And I think that's going to be the issue here, the dynamic of choosing when to play Wrecking Ball, if to play Wrecking Ball. And what I'm wondering is we know that, you know, Hazard's not off the table anymore. Zarya's gone. Do we fall just to the Hazard default? He's an incredibly talented tank. He's got an insane versatility and volatility, and I wonder if he's going to be that kind of replacement Zarya.
Yeah, and I love seeing weird characters. I love seeing the variety coming in. I want to see everything, right? I want to see some Mei, some Hanzo maybe being played. Soj, I love Soj.
I'm a big Soj fan as well. We actually saw Texas Tech play Soj last series, so we know it's not off the table. We know it's very possible we could be seeing that Soj run come in. I love Mei. She's one of my favorite characters, one of my most played. I also love to play the more inconvenient characters. I'm a huge Junkrat player. I wish we'd see Junkrat today. We saw very little bit on Dorado, but here we go with the horse. Like you said, Pooter Scooter on the Orisa. Now, Pooter Scooter kind of notorious for that Orisa gameplay, a very talented Orisa player.
I love this comp, actually. The Sojourn, the horse, the Genji. Honestly, I'm kind of looking at this and saying that this is anti-dive. We want to stop the Hazard with the ball. We gotta have the horse peel for our supports, but that doesn't seem to matter at all.
Yep.
The Tracer.
Nemris able to find Sire very early on there. Lucio down. Kiri not even on this realm anymore. And Texas Tech, they steamroll through, able to find a great opportunity to cap this first point. And instead of like Control, you get 1% per 1.3 seconds. Here on Flashpoint, it's 1% every 0.7. So it's a little bit faster. It's easier to take that lead and hold on to it. And Texas Tech, they can cap this first point in about 2 fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, it's like that last game never ended.
Yep.
Just Steamroll and LRF
the momentum is not stopped.
Kind of on fire right now as well.
Oh!
We see the horse. So much HP taken down, but the elimination not found. The Genji is on the receiving end now, but some shots missed. Now
we hear the damage come into the back line here, but everybody's still standing. Clamps should go down here. Not particularly surprising. The trade out of Alfonso and Nitrous. So this is still going to be a very winnable fight for Texas Tech. The DPS just absolutely fragging in the front line, taking that back line out, and then immediately moving in because this is going to be huge play for Texas Tech. LRF to clean up the finals. And Texas Tech, I believe, should cap this point off this.
Yeah, no tank, no problem, right? I mean, that was a great use of utility, and just like the last point, it was honestly really quick. At least the crucial moments, they all happened in a flash of an eye. But look at this, even a stagger coming in. It's not looking nice for Miami. Moving on to the next point. And we see this nice little overview. Shout out to the production team, by the way.
Real shout out, Chris.
You see the deflect doing work, but the pulse bomb, where did that even come from?
That's actually tied for the most effective pulse bomb we've seen today. We've only seen a maximum of 2 eliminations with a pulse bomb. I'd love to see one get a little bit crazier. And going into this fight, Texas Tech, it feels like they've got every ult they could possibly need. And Miami struggling to have any right now. A difficult engagement to go into, but I think Pooter Scooter coming into this with the ultimate in the pocket is really going to be beneficial, but we need to wait and see if that benefit can happen.
Yeah, and so many ults that needs to be used correctly, right? The Rissa ult, the power surge, it's so difficult to use.
Oh!
So cool. Nice javelin. I mean, really taking initiative with a fight, but here comes the rain.
Where's the high noon? Where's the high noon?
Oh,
and he missed!
No!
And he missed!
It's
Oh! Pooter Scooter tries everything, and he just doesn't have it in the arsenal to take it down. LRF turns it into a triple. Let's make it a quadruple. No! Nitrous Oxide sucks the air right out of the 4K. In Texas Tech, they will still cap the point. A phenomenal play from LRF there.
The clip has to end early.
You just got to cut it really abruptly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like Valorant. Never ask a player why
it
stops at a 4K.
Never ask a player why the clip stops at 4. Going into this matchup, though, here, Kevin, I feel like we're seeing a lot of opportunity to strike. We see Sire coming in with that overclock online. Yeah. We see Pooter Scooter with that javelin spin in just a moment. But Mobilize has already fallen. Can you win this without any ultimates? That's the idea.
Engagement. And as I was saying with the Rissa ult before, that it needs to be used correctly.
Yep.
So does the overclock.
Very true.
Very skill-based ultimate, and it kind of needs the opponents to give you the ground already. Not just hiding away from every overclock, but here comes the engagement, and pulse bomb, nothing.
Whole lot of nothing on that one. LRF able to find that elimination early. I don't imagine Pooter Scooter lives this. Yeah, they are going to be going down. Their Clamps on a 10-player kill streak. I mean, Texas Tech, they took that loss to Maryland personally, because they have come in and they are just demonizing this matchup. They are tearing up. They want to be your idol for this tournament here. Absolutely. So far, Texas Tech able to find a great performance. One ultimate still in the bank. Miami University coming in with damn near all 5.
Everything. And I mean, honestly, going back on what you were saying, I mean, that loss to the first seed, maybe even not as demoralizing as we might think.
Yeah.
And here we see the ult coming in, the grand fit. This is big, but the beat, it's just going to stop it. Nothing, no value found. And I mean, Sire's going to get taken out of the game. No, chance to even compete with LRF in this DPS showdown.
Oh, Nemris, 11 HP, able to get that recall back into the engagement here. LRF, the first one to go down for the first time in a long time. Miami does have that player advantage, now 4-2 on the board. Just supports the final 2 standing. Epic able to find 2 of his own. Desperate to try and make this work. Mobilize not going to be able to survive this, I can't imagine. They will go down. Epic, the last player standing. Go back to your team, my friend. Do not go for the engagement. But going into this, they've got the High Noon, they've got the Hazard ultimate, and they've got 1% needed to win this point.
Yeah, and that fight honestly was very labor, very difficult, and
Okay, looks like we've got a bit of a tech pause. I'm not sure what is happening, but I'm sure we'll find out in just a minute here. Going to be a bit of an unfortunate pause there, but better late than never, and at least they waited till the fight was over, because that's the rule. You can't pause in the middle of the fight, but when the fight's over.
Yeah, and it would have been really funny if it was in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a big ult.
The middle of a huge fight. It's happened before, honestly, because sometimes people don't turn off the setting where it'll auto-pause if someone DCs. So then it happens, and it's technically not supposed to happen, but nobody did it. So it's like nobody's technically in trouble. It's a whole thing. But going into this, I'm going to lean right over here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, okay, just looks like a little bit of a tech error there. We are going to be jumping right back into the matchup here. We can see what the final fight may be looking like. Texas Tech, they need to win this, and they need to win one more Flash point to win this map and put themselves on series point already.
And my eyes on the Hazard ult, I think this is a way that they're going to engage. And, I mean, when that happens, I feel like the overclock is going to happen immediately.
Overclock comes through. Sire doesn't even get to use it. 2 players down, and now Pooter Scooter cannot be long for the Mortal Coil. Looks like they are going to be able to find one in the form of Epic Ray. This could be a huge opportunity to strike on the side of Miami, but unfortunately, now Clamps has gone down. Just when you think it's over, they're going to be coming right back into the fray. The Javelin comes out. Looks like Pooter Scooter's coming around. Gonna be golden here, trying to keep this team alive. Miami University able to pick up some damage, but not able to hold on to the point. Javelin spin in. Suzu to boot. LRF desperate to find even one elimination, but just can't do it. The Orisa ult is personal to take LRF out of the equation to Miami University in the final moments. They are going to be free. They are going to find the second point and tie Flashpoint back up.
Down but not out. I mean, this is a type of resilience that we need to see from a team in a lower bracket that wants to make a run. Sire Overclock, honestly, not finding a lot of value. The Soj has really struggled, despite the fight win. I would say Pooter Scooter played a huge hand in winning that fight, but Sire maybe even considering like a swap off the Sojourn? Because it's really not doing it.
I mean, especially after popping that overclock and immediately kind of losing it. You don't have to worry about the ult anymore. You can swap onto something else if you think it's viable.
Yeah, but still Kitsune Rush and Pulse Bomb, you know, we want to see Pulse Bomb get a little more value, but definitely Kitsune Rush can get a bit of value, especially since Mobileye doesn't have the counter one. Yes, sneaking around on here's a stick!
Nice, Suzu must have kept that Cassidy alive. Clamps has gone down here. Miami University finally coming back to life. That little bit of a pause really helped them find a second win at a critical moment. LRF gets a pick of their own, but I believe they're already down 2. Let's turn that into 3 off the map, into a 4th and final. Texas Tech not able to find that capitalization of Miami University, 15% on the board.
It's really about getting to the groove. We're seeing Pooter Scooter kind of hitting these javelins now, and you know, understanding the flow of the game a lot better here. I think really kind of getting comfortable and capitalizing off the advantages that they have and winning 5v4 situations. And coming here, Hazard looking to engage, still has the ultimate, and here it goes. Up the right click.
Oh, the Orisa goes down. It could be disastrous. Booter Scooter is going to fall. If you're wondering what the beat is, this is what it sounds like to keep the team alive. This is the music they need to dance into this victory position. But Texas Tech, even with all this damage, have not been able to find the numbers advantage quite yet. Here it goes, still standing. Nitrous finally down 75%.